the names in the like red corner, I could see the favorites and I could see the guys that weren't meant to win.
Yeah, I was kind of
Ah.
I
kind
could
of
clearly
look. I don't want
see
to. Yeah, yeah.
I could clearly see the tournament favorites in one change room and the other guys in another change room. And
Oh.
like our guys were in the other change room. We weren't the tournament favorites or anything. And yeah, but yeah, I
Listen,
seen
I've got
like
a bad line. You guys hear me?
huh?
Okay. Can
Yeah.
you guys hear me? Okay. I've got a really bad line. I can barely
Yeah,
hear
yeah.
you guys.
Yeah, I can hear
Oh,
you, Frank.
yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, Simon's dropping out, and I hate that because he's got some really good points, and I wanna add to it, but I can't bloody hear him.
Sorry.
He's all
Yeah,
choppy and
can you hear me now?
yeah, that's okay. Now you moving around or
No, I'm not.
okay? So we
Yeah,
actually started the show, or what's going on?
no, not yet.
All right, guys. To
So,
tell you the truth, I got a bit of that conversation back there. To anyone tuning in, we are actually live. Welcome to Monday Night Mayhem. We are coming in a bit earlier today to cover Brace for War. I have Mr. Australian top team Suman Mokhtarian,
Yo,
and we have Mr. Ten Planet Melbourne Frank Barker.
oh, thanks for having me again, man. I love this show. I look forward to it every Monday night. Thank you.
All right, great, man. The reason we start early so that the Aussies could tune in for Brace. I did not get a chance to get any footage up or any highlights or whatever. So you guys have to anchor the show right now. What happened at Brace?
Frank, you want to take it off first?
Well, look, I might as well, and I'll tell you why. Not because they're my boys. It's just that I didn't have a chance to watch any other fights other than the ones that I was cornering. And so, Suman, you could really take it after that, mate, and fill us in on what happened afterwards. Because, man, I was just with Josh backstage. You know, he was busted up pretty bad, and we had to get him taken care of. But anyway, look, I may as well look. Obviously, I think the third fight of the night was my boy Joshua Pekastang was up against Jamie Malaki, and Jamie Malaki's got a really strong record. We talked about this last week, Suman. You hinted at the fact that, look, Frank, it's stacked against you. And I was like, listen, I would never, listen, Suman, you know the situation. I would never put my boys in a situation where they were going to get stomped. I mean, to
Exactly.
completely,
Yep. I know that.
right? I wouldn't do that. But we had an agreement with the boys. I said, listen, this is our first pro fight. For Josh, it was his first pro fight. Look how good he did. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, he
if
did
I didn't
really
think, mate, he had him, dude. I reckon Jamie's arm's pretty sore, man. I
armbar.
mean, I love Jamie Malaki, man. I mean, but at the end of the fight, man, we saw him outside after the event, man. He couldn't fucking move that arm, man. I wouldn't be surprised if his. But anyway, look, Joshua basically. Oh, sorry, Suman, did you want to say something? I thought I heard you
No,
there
no,
for a
no.
second.
I was just saying that I saw that armbar and it was tight. I thought that was the end of it.
Yeah, he had him actually in an arm crush. What happened was, they started in the first round, bit of circling. Jamie's got great striking, man. He's really good. Josh wanted to suss it out to see whether we could find a hole. If not, we're just going to pull guard. We're going to just take it to him and just hit him from our back, which is something that's very rarely seen these days. Paul Sass always did it. Very rarely, Dustin Hazlett back in the day. But obviously, Josh, felt his power a little bit at the start, thought, I'm going to stand in front of him, get him to come in, I'm going to pull guard. So he jabbed and pulled guard perfectly. He went to what we call a very high guard, crossing the ankles with the right hand in. It's called crackhead control to minimize posture and to crush their base and to stop them from striking. And Josh did that perfectly. And then what he did, he started transitioning to the pump, which was where we put our left deep hook in, elbow to elbow on their right arm and start looking for an armbar. And he spun underneath him. And Jamie kind of lost his balance. So Josh, he grabbed his instep and he threw him like a lasso over his head, which is called a swim move. And he put him in the spider web, which is an armbar position instead of a classic armbar position being just with your legs crossed and having the arm isolated and working two hands on the arm you want to armbar. We actually have a left deep hook and we actually use our right arm to underhook their right leg so they can't get to their knees. Because the biggest problem for us is people stacking us. So what we do is we keep them on their back by having that spider web. And that's what Josh did. And Josh really worked that spider web, worked the deep hook, and he really started wearing Jamie down. Because what you want to do is you want to wear that bicep down. You want to really work on their grip and crush him psychologically. So that's what he was doing. And Jamie was really strong. It was first round. It was a perfect time to go for submission because there's not much sweat, right, Suman?
Yeah, that's right. That's when you're most viable to submissions.
Yeah. So Josh did that perfectly. And then, we couldn't isolate that arm to finish because we like to finish with a high elbow on that left side. It's like a Muay Thai. Imagine throwing a Muay Thai left elbow, Suman, right? And you're using your wrist and your armpit to pin the arm down so that you don't have to let go of the legs and run the risk of them coming up on top and finishing off your back. Make sense?
Yep.
Yes.
It's very technical, but it has to be, I've got to explain it because this is what happened. So this is our game. This is why 10th Lane Jiu-Jitsu is exciting. That's why it's very technical. Just like the gi is technical, Jiu-Jitsu for us is super, super technical. All those little details, those nuances are massive. Anyway, back to the point. So, but what happened was it wasn't working. We couldn't get the arms, the grip to break. So what we do is we classically flip the right leg over their right forearm and we do a bicep crush and we hide the left leg under. It's a figure 4 basically. And let me tell you, man, it breaks your arm. It breaks the forearm bones. And let me tell you, Josh had that deep and he was squeezing and popping his hips. And man, no wonder Jamie's arm was sore at the end of that fight. Now here's the thing. Josh's left deep hook was starting to come out a little bit. And I think that was the saving grace for Jamie. It was coming late in the round. Josh knew that time wasn't on his side. So we tried to go for letting the leg go and using his grip, but then Jamie came on top. There was a slight exchange on the ground and then the buzzer went. So first round, man, I gotta tell you, everyone had a heart attack because there were so many Jamie Malaki supporters, and we had a lot of supporters too. But let me tell you, man, Jamie, we took him by surprise, and that was our chance, Suman. You understand what I mean? Like, we knew we weren't going to be able to really stand up with him, but we knew that if we could just get into the ground, even if we had to pull guard, that's what we did, and Josh did that so well. Do you agree?
Yes, I do, because my jiu-jitsu instructor came back to me because he watched the first round of that fight, and he came back to me and he goes, "Man, you need to go watch this guy on the floor." Like, he was saying his control and his transitions were amazing to watch. You know, my jiu-jitsu instructor, Black Belt, pointed it out to me. You know, he goes, "Man, you need to come watch this guy on the floor. You know, he's got really good control for MMA." And I'm like, "Oh, I bet you it's one of Frank guys." So I ran down and I saw it. You know, it was good.
Hey, thanks, man. That's great. I really appreciate the encouragement, man. So anyway, so we come out for the second round. My instructions for Josh were, listen, don't stand in front of him. Keep moving. He's got strong hands, man. Malaki's a beast. That's featherweight. He's big for a featherweight.
Yeah.
And we went out there, and Josh tried to lure him in a little bit so he can go for a shoot. And he actually shot in, but he started eating a couple of shots. And Simon, you know, just like I do, man, when you start eating a shot, you're under the big lights, your power starts depleting. You know what I mean? You get tired. You don't feel like you can be as assertive as you were before.
It does break you inside. It's a bit what's the word I'm looking for? Like it breaks you down. Like it puts you off in a big way.
Yeah, so Josh started getting tagged a little bit. I went and shot in a couple of times. Jamie was onto him. Anytime Josh tried to pull him into his guard, you could see Jamie just step back and wave him up. Did you notice?
Yeah. Saw that.
So anyway, so Jamie was doing that. But anyway, towards the end of the second round, Josh ate some really heavy hands, couple uppercuts. He ate a couple of knees. His left eye was swollen shut. Let me tell you, his left eye was swollen shut. And I got in the corner. I said, "Josh," this is what I said. I said, "Tito, listen." I call him Tito because he does a great Tito Ortiz impersonation. So I call him that. So I always refer to him as Tito. So if you ever see me talking about Josh, it's always Tito because, you know, that's the way it is. But anyway.
I saw you right, Tito. I'm like, who the hell's Tito?
You have no idea how many people have not even asked me about that yet. Fuck, that's amazing.
I'm like, oh, he's got the nickname Tito. But, like, I never, like, referred it to Tito Ortiz. I'm just like, why the hell did they call him Tito?
Well, he's got dimples,
you know
right?
what?
Josh
They look a bit alike.
Look at his chin. It's fucking enormous. I think he took out his knees to the head.
They've both got the same jaw.
Oh man, you guys got to let me know this guy. I want to know this guy.
Oh, listen. Let me finish. This is exciting.
Sure.
Listen, wait. So anyway, mate, I went to the corner at round 2 at the break, and I said to him, "Josh, what do you want me to do?" And he goes, "Mate, I'm fucking going for it." I said, "It's up to you. Your left eye, can you see?" He goes, "No, I can't see a thing," right? I'm looking at my right eye. I'm like, how big is his balls? He wants to get in there with Jamie in the third round, pushing him to 3 rounds. He's hurt. His eyes shut, right? How tough is this kid? So, you know, he went in there and he did his best. He got caught a few times, and Jamie caught him with a beautiful right uppercut, sat him on his ass against the fence, and then Malaki. Can you imagine him in full mount? And let me tell you, he dropped some heavy elbows, dude. He dropped some monsters, and he cut Tito on his forehead pretty bad, and he cut him under that eye as well. But let me tell you, man, Tito was a beast. You know, he fought to the very end. He scared the hell out of him. You know, he pushed him 3 rounds. Look, you know, I'm proud as hell, man. Tito, he's my training partner. He's been my training partner since he was freaking, 17 years old. Well, Tito's got a striking background as well. But he's a purple belt in 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu. I reckon he's pretty close to pushing Brown now. I mean, you know, I reckon it was not that far away. Yeah. Yeah, so it was unfortunately, you know, it was hard to watch. You know, he's my brother-in-law as well. He's my top student. He's been with me for 19 years. To see him go in there like that, he got, you know, it looked pretty bad. But it's always worse. It looks worse than it really is. You know what it's like. I mean, as a fighter, you don't give a shit.
It hurts on the inside more than it does on the outside.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, it hurts on the inside way more than it does on the outside. Yeah, so that's basically what happened in that fight. And I got to say, I know I'm talking about Josh because I'm just telling you from a coach's point of view. So, but for Jamie, he looked great. You know, Jamie, when he let his hands go, he hit the mark. You know, out of 3 or 4 hand combinations, he was landing 2 on average. You know, pop. He was popping them out there, and you know, his clinch was super strong. It was so on point, and those knees were super accurate as well. He landed a couple of beautiful leg kicks on Josh as well. Obviously, his submission defense was good. I mean, look, he was stuck in that arm crush for the whole round, man. It was.
Jamie is one of the, in my opinion, Jamie's one of the top. Or if people don't consider him now, he will be one of the top featherweights in Australia. And like I think the kid's a beast. Like he fought Martin Ewan in his first pro fight after Martin was 5-0, and Martin is in 1FC now. And he took him to a split decision, you know, and he nearly beat him. You know, he's a tough kid, and I'm actually good friends with Jamie. He's a real nice guy, real humble. And
he is.
Awesome fighter.
He is, man. And look, you know, I got to say it was a bit sketchy on some information we had from the powers that be that really that we knew about. You know, guys like Jamie and guys like Luke and, you know, etc. and JJ as well in that division. So, you know, we didn't really.
Frank.
Hello. Frank. I think Frank just dropped out.
First, no,
wait.
Sorry?
Oh, wait, you dropped out for a second.
Oh, okay, shit. All right, anyway.
Yeah, you're back.
We drew Jamie first round. Like you said, you hinted towards that with the names on the dressing room doors. We went in there. I thought Josh did an incredible job. It showed how tough and how determined he was. He showed his ground skills, like how he controlled his posture. I mean, Jamie's got an incredible ground and pound game, and Josh shut that down completely when he was in full guard. When he was in full guard, he couldn't touch him. That's how good Josh's control was. I mean, you go back and watch it, you know, it's right there. I mean, I'm not bullshitting about that. And he had him in some shit, and he transitioned 3 times into that arm crush. Man, Jamie was in some trouble. So, you know, but we just couldn't get him down again. You know, we just couldn't get him into our world. So, look, absolute props to Jamie. I think he'll take it out. I'm glad we really put a scare into him. I'm really glad that we could really push him and take him into deep waters where maybe his game. I mean, he's great with submissions as well, but it was good to see him, you know, checking out his defense. You know what I mean? It was great to see his defense for a change on his back, and we put him there, and I'm proud of that. I think he'll go on to win the tournament, in my opinion.
I think he'll win too.
And that's that.
I think he'll win. I think he'll take this out pretty easy. In my opinion, Luke Standing was another favorite for me, and and he when he fought JJ, like I know JJ's got a great ground game, but he really surprised me in that fight when he beat Luke. You know, I think he sent the scare in to the guys, but I think Jamie's too well rounded for everyone else in that featherweight division.
Yeah, true. So I think I'll move on to Shane's fight. Is that cool, Mo?
Yeah.
Let's go.
So obviously Shane as well, he was up against, you know, a very good striker, knockout artist. We knew he couldn't stand in front of him. Now, we worked on our wrestling. We really did. That's why he shot in so early, you know, against the cage. You know, he went for that leg. We you know, worked on switching our hips hard to be able to get him belly down so we could have a shot at that heel, you know, because we knew, you know, we can get him against the cage and isolate him and maybe get on one leg. We had a real good shot. So Shane's got a really good knee bar as well. He's got great darces and chokes. So we were trying to play the submission card again. We've been working on some little things with Shane with striking just to be able to set up the shot. But, you know, he's doing pretty well. And we had, you know, Billy kind of having to, you know, work his way out of some tight spots. And then Shane just kind of stood there in front of him. And, you know, I was speaking to Shane about it afterwards, and he just got, like, I don't know, it happens sometimes. Sometimes you just get caught up in the whole situation, and he kind of just stood in front of Billy, and, you know, Billy put a right hand right on his chin and just dropped him in the corner, and then he was dropping shots. There was half of me to see from where I was because Billy had his back to me, but it looked like punches or elbows, and Shane was pretty much taking them all on the arms, but he couldn't get out of the, I mean, he's stuck in the side of the fence in the cage. He couldn't try and get up to wall walk. He was worried he was going to get all messed up, so he kind of just stayed there, and the referee had no choice but to stop the fight. So, you know, a bit of inexperience, I guess. You know, we knew what we were up against. We were happy to take the challenge. You know, I'm proud of those boys, man. They really, you know, tried to push it. You know, it happens. But I'm not disappointed at all. I'm disappointed for the boys because I know how hard they tried and how much they wanted it, and I did too. But I'm not disappointed at all. I love those guys to death, man. Anybody that walks into that cage has got my respect, man. Especially on a tournament like this. Like, it's not just any kind of style tournament set up to have a champion, and there's going to be quality in there. And we knew that. Anywhere you go these days, if it's a solid promotion that are really determined on showcasing the best skills in the region, whether it's Australia, whether it's Asia, whatever, every fight's going to be tough. No, there's not going to be any easy fights. Would you agree, Suman?
Yeah, that's right. When you get put in a situation like that where you don't know who you're fighting and you're in a tournament, you never know what you're going to come up against. But you know one thing, that everyone you come up against has something to offer and some skill to be worried about.
Yeah, and that's how I felt about it. So basically, for those two fights that I participated in, look, it was tough for me, you know, seeing them, you know, going down like that. But you know what, man, we're there to finish fights, and if we get finished, well, the better man wins, you know, and we're happy with that, and we can accept that, and we're going to learn a lot from this, and I'm sure you'll see us again as exciting as ever.
All right, that's great, man. Suman, how about you? Have any boys with fighting at Brace?
Yeah, we were meant to have two boys, but we ended up just with one. One of the opponents at the weigh-in had to pull out due to like not getting his medicals and registration done with the Combat Sports Authority, which was a bit of a shame. Our guy was ready to fight and really wanted to get in there, but he was given a pass, and now he goes to round 2, which is cool, I guess. Okay, I guess if you can take it, can you do it? You take it. So he's going on to round 2. That was William Namoa. But we had Darwin Sagarit fighting. He's from the Philippines, you know, brought up out west in Australia, in Sydney. Tough guy. He's been at my gym now for 2.5 months or 3 months. Since he booked this fight in, he came over to my gym. Now, Darwin came to our gym as a striker. He was just a kickboxer, had kickboxing fights. He'd had a few MMA fights, but he had his first MMA fight and just got chucked into the pros, not knowing he didn't have the right direction or management or anything. He just thought, oh, it's not as easy to get people to the ground. He got in there and you know, he had a few MMA fights, but he'd never had the right direction in learning MMA. He learned striking. That was it. So he came into our gym not knowing much jiu-jitsu or much wrestling or anything, and he really knuckled down for the 2.5 months that he was here. And I was really, really happy with him. He came into this fight. It was his first drop to bantamweight. He is a really short guy, but he always fought at featherweight, always fought above his weight. Dropped to bantamweight, and in my opinion, versus one of the tournament favorites, Giancarlo Embradora, who has fought for Brace many times, and so did Darwin, but they put them together. And before the fight, words were being said. You know, we heard that Darwin's opponent wanted to stand and bang. I think after the first 30 seconds of that fight, he realized he doesn't want to stand and bang with Darwin any longer. The fight started off, they were feeling each other out, a few leg kicks. Within about 30 seconds, Giancarlo rushed in on Darwin, hit him with a right hand. And as Darwin was moving back, going towards the cage, he kind of stumbled back. Giancarlo ran right into a right hand of Darwin's and dropped him right on his ass. And as Darwin got on top to start hitting him, Giancarlo started working his way back up, pushed him over to the fence. There was a bit of stalling on the fence. Giancarlo ended up scoring a takedown, but Darwin had his back against the cage, worked his way back up, and then Giancarlo did it again. First round ends. So it was kind of a bit of stalling after Giancarlo had been dropped. And when I went into the corner, as soon as I came to speak to Darwin, I said, he cut me off as soon as I came to open my mouth, and he goes, man, I broke my hand. Like, what do you mean you broke your hand? He goes, that first punch I threw, when I dropped him, I broke my hand. And I looked at him and I go, what do you want to do? And he turns around and he goes, hit him with my other hand. And I'm like, all right. I'm like, sweet, let's do it then. So then I straight away started telling him, I'm like, man, you can't let him think like a striker. Let him think that you're gonna shoot. So I told him, I want to see a level change. I want to see you come out. I want you touching. Right. I want you to level change hard. Make him think you're gonna go for the shot. I want you to pop back up and come in with a hard left hook. And he goes, all right, no problem. I go, after you follow up with that left hook, don't admire your work. Jump on him. All right? I go, because it's going to land. Once it lands, I want you to fucking kill him. He goes, all right, no worries. Gave him a bit of water. He went out there. And I could see him shaking his hand. I knew his hand was hurting him. I was hoping it numbed up or something, you know? So he came out, did like 2 level changes, jumped up with his huge left hook and got him square on the chin, dropped him against the cage, and he came to get back up. As he came to get back up, Darwin ran forward and went with like a front kick, front teep. Went to hit him in the chest, but ended up hitting him in the nuts. and Darwin just kept going, you know, until the ref popped in. When the ref popped in, they pulled him apart, gave Giancarlo his 2 minutes, and then they started going at it again. Giancarlo went for a takedown, scored the takedown, but as he scored the takedown from half guard, Darwin swept him, got on top. Giancarlo pulled butterfly guard and was trying to elevate Darwin. Darwin was pushing away at his head and elbowing him, and he was dropping elbows, man. Like, he was just going crazy with these elbows, and it looked like for a second that the ref was going to jump in, and then Giancarlo kind of hit his head under Darwin's armpit, so Darwin was trying to elbow him in the ear, and at the same time he was trying to elbow him in the ear, he moved and he accidentally collected him in the back of the head twice. And the referees pulled him apart, and he straight away took 2 points off. Took 1 point off Darwin. They restarted. As soon as they restarted, Darwin went for the takedown, had him up against the cage. What does Giancarlo do? Just like we saw in UFC in Macau? Oh no, in Singapore. When we saw the elevated elbows to the back of the skull. From the Brazilian.
Yeah.
Same way, man. Same way. He'd elbowed Darwin 3 times to the back of the head, and then they separated him. And I was screaming to the ref, "Where's our point? Where's our point?" And he didn't take a point off him. And he goes, "Nah, that's his warning." I'm like, "What the fuck was our warning?" I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Cool, whatever, you know." And then I'm like, "I see how it is, you know." And then I may have swore a bit at the referee, called him a bald-headed fuck. And sorry, Frank. Yeah, I was swearing at him, and the referee actually turned around to me and said, "If you open your mouth one more time, he's gonna disqualify my guy." So I just shut up. And then the 3rd round came, and I said to Darwin, I thought it was an even round because I thought Darwin won the 2nd round. Oh, well, he clearly won the 2nd round, but they had the point taken off. I told Darwin, man, like, you're gonna have to do something, you know. I don't know how the judges had scored it. If it was me, I would have scored you for winning the 1st round, for knocking him down. But who knows? These wrestler-based guys, you know, really like top position. So 3rd round came out. Darwin, his opponent was running from him. Darwin was chasing him down, trying to hit him, and he was running away, and he ended up scoring a double leg on Darwin. When he scored the double leg on Darwin, from his guard, Darwin would not stop elbowing him. I'm saying from every angle, this kid got elbowed, and he wouldn't stop. But all the guy on top was doing, Giancarlo, he was just holding on. Smart game plan, won him the fight. But if you had to ask me for damage done, I think we won that fight 3 times out of 3, 10 times out of 10. You know, we may have lost the fight in the judges' eyes, but if it was a street fight, we beat the crap out of him. You know? But I guess it's MMA. I'm really proud of how Darwin did. The progress that Darwin has made with his wrestling and his conditioning as well. You know, he wasn't that conditioned when he came in here, but he's really put it on the line. The guy's got 4 kids. You know, I think he's 29 years old. He's got 4 kids. He had his first kid when he was like 16 or something. You know, Um, he's a fighter. And I think being at our gym, I think he's going to learn a lot. He had a great fight, and you might actually see him in the brace tournament again. Where,
Suman, I saw Darwin on Sherdog, and it says that he was from Temple Dog. So he was with Sam K as well?
Yeah, he was with Sam K. Amy Adam was with Sam K. We have a lot of guys that were there from Temple Dogs, and they've moved over to our gym.
Yeah, and from what I've seen from Sam K of all his fights when he was at Temple Dog, then transitioning to Australian top team, they improved quite a lot. So I believe Darwin improve as well, isn't it?
Yeah, well, see, taking nothing away from Temple Dogs, they're not around anymore. Their gym closed down, but Sam and a few of the guys moved over before they closed. And the reason for that was Temple Dogs was a striking-based gym. They said they were an MMA gym, but all they did was kickboxing and boxing. You know, we had their guys come over and they had wrestling at their gym. When they came over and did wrestling with us, they were like, oh, they didn't even know how to do penetration steps when they were shooting like wrestlers, you know?
Yeah.
There was a bit of a difference, and it was good. Like, Sam K knew what he needed to do to become an elite MMA fighter. He was a great striker, and all their guys are great strikers, but they needed to learn more on the ground, and that's why they've all come over to us. And yeah, it's real good. You know, we've had all their guys come over, and we've blended in well.
All right, man. Because it is the same problem we have with the gyms in Singapore, branding themselves MMA gyms, but they only have striking. But for Frank, you are 10 Planet, so I believe all you guys do is jiu-jitsu. Do you guys do striking or wrestling as well?
Yeah. Every Thursday night we wrestle. Fridays we have our striking sparring class. We also do our sparring Wednesday nights as well. So we do MMA, but usually it's the guys that are looking to fight, guys that have been working on skills with me for a while. We just work them. I just spend some time with them on the pads, you know, do some drills and whatnot, and get them going with their sparring, you know, little areas that they've got to work on. So we're not a full-on MMA gym. I don't teach MMA classes. I do a little bit of striking with them. I only work with the guys that are getting ready for fights and whatnot. And like I said, we've got a whole bunch of guys that get together to move around with some sparring, you know, twice a week. But other than that, wrestling's on Thursdays and jiu-jitsu's every other day. Don't forget, our style of jiu-jitsu is for MMA. Please understand that. And a big part of MMA is the ground game, as Suman has just highlighted. So, you know, I used to teach a lot more striking in the past. I used to teach a lot of kickboxing, Muay Thai in the past. But I just got away from that, you know, just for whatever reason. I probably this is not the forum to air those kind of things. But I guess, you know, I wanted to move on from that and establish myself in jiu-jitsu for MMA. For MMA, no-gi jiu-jitsu specifically for MMA. So that's what we do.
We at Australian Top Team before, we were known as just a jiu-jitsu gym, you know. I think we were one of those gyms that called ourselves in the first 6 months of us being open. When we opened, we were like, oh, we're an MMA gym. But to be honest, we were predominantly jiu-jitsu. You know, jiu-jitsu was every night, and then we had like a bit of kickboxing here, and we didn't have much wrestling or anything. Now, for in the past 6 months, we've gotten a kickboxing coach from Holland. You know, he was a former world champion, former Dutch champion in kickboxing. Great fighter. Now we have a proper kickboxing coach, and we have a kickboxing program. You know, we've got guys having kickboxing fights now. We've got guys coming in just doing kickboxing now, you know. So it's a good program that we got going. Now we've got a wrestling team as well. I think we've got like 5 national wrestlers. We've got a Commonwealth Games wrestler. We've got an Olympic wrestler in our classes. You know, we've now mixed it up. This last year, we've really tried to become a one-stop shop, you know. And like Frank said before, even if you can't call Frank's gym a jiu-jitsu gym, because his style of jiu-jitsu, 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu, is invented and better for MMA, you know. It's the style of MMA, you know. So that's why even when I say it, like, as much as I love my gi, there's nothing I would want more than to do a seminar with Frank or someone just to pick up some 10th Planet skills, because, man, you see all these guys and it's work. They've proven that their style is effective and working, you know, for MMA. So as much as you would say it's a jiu-jitsu school, it's as much of an MMA school, you know.
All right, talking about that, because I've seen MMA fighters, UFC fighters going down to Eddie Bravo's gym to do jiu-jitsu and so on and so forth. So is it the same direction that you're doing in Melbourne, whereby 10 Planet is just specifically jiu-jitsu for MMA?
Absolutely, that's our thing. But I've got a few students that have been with me for a while, and they know my striking knowledge, and they want that. So, you know, they've made that clear. So I've opened that up again for them to do that, and that's what we've done. But predominantly, if people want to improve their ground game for MMA specifically, if they want to work their ground game, but they also want to be made aware of elbows and punches to the face on the ground and whatnot, man, I mean, where else can you go to get that information, really? Seriously.
Yeah.
Like,
You know?
Frank, I got a suggestion. Since you have a striking background, why don't you start 10 Planet Striking?
Well, okay, I'll be really honest then, okay?
All right.
Maybe it's time I should just say this.
All right.
I'll be super honest, okay?
Okay.
I dealt with MMA people. I mean, every time George Soropoulos would win, back in when he had his shiny days a few years ago, and he was obviously training with Eddie, and every time George would fight and win, we'd have 20 guys show up, right? The next Monday, right? And these 20 guys, now, Suman, what kind of quality you reckon I was getting in those 20 guys? Seriously.
Not very good quality.
Right, so then I would put him in an MMA. We'd have MMA classes, whatnot, and they'd be full. But in 3 weeks, you'd go from 30 guys in the class to how many? Suman, tell me.
5, not even.
Right, so this has been going on my entire career. So I got to a point where I was like, you know what? I'm kind of done with teaching and dealing with the so-called badasses in Melbourne, right? Coming to wannabe MMA fighters. And as soon as you start putting them in, working on their hands, you know, one piece at a time, they're going, hang on a second, this is really hard. This is going to take too long. When am I going to fight? I'm like, dude. So, you know, having to deal with so many of those kind of people, I must admit, maybe I was a little bit impatient, I don't know. But I kind of lost I really didn't want to deal with those kind of people anymore. So what I wanted to do was to say, look, I want people to sort me out. I want people that want specifically to improve their ground game with MMA clearly and squarely at the top of it. And that's what I do. And I'm a specialist in that area, and it works. And Eddie, like you said, Mo, Eddie, mate, when I go there, I'm leaving in 2 days. I'm leaving on Wednesday for my 11th trip in 8 years. Let me tell you, man, every time I go there, on the mat, mate, I'm sitting next to, mate, I've sat next to champions. All the time I go over, the champions everywhere. In the older days, back in 06, 07, Chuck Liddell was there. Now, Andy Wang was even there. Melendez, Jake Shields was there. Man, a lot of people go through his gym. You know why? Because they know. Because they know what's going on. Now, we don't see as much as we'd like to see in MMA at the top levels like the Big Show, UFC. You know why? Because a lot of these guys are established. They're not going to go and spend 3 years and develop their guard. Are you kidding me? They haven't got time. They've got to lift weights. They've got to run hills. They've got to do media. They've got to get to the gym. They've got to freaking spar. They've got to do jiu-jitsu. They've got to wrestle. Yeah, right. They're gonna take 3 years and develop their rubber guard. Bullshit. They're not going to, whether it's Z guard or rubber guard or freaking whatever guard you want to call it, they're not going to do that because they're established and what's been working has gotten there as well. So why would they want to go and take a big chunk out of their game and go and spend, 2 years developing? And who's got 2 years to develop it? Not many. But you know what? We're starting to see Jim Miller develop it. Anyone see Jim Miller working his rubber guard recently?
Yeah,
Man.
Man, that was a classic 10 Planet Jiu-Jitsu straight up. Dustin Hazlett showed us that you can work that omoplata, you can work that Jew claw position, you can work that rubber guard for that clinch to minimize striking. I mean, hell, Josh is his first pro fight, and he did it against Malaki, and he did it to perfection, going from full guard to mission control to crackhead. He went for the deep hook transition, hit him in the swim move, had him there for 2.5 minutes, and nearly broke his arm with a crush. That's just basic shit for us. Basic.
And
you know what I mean?
I totally understand what you just said just now.
You did?
Yes. Because I do love to watch Eddie Bravo's instructional videos. So I totally understand from the mission control to the rubber guard. Yeah, I totally understand that.
I love you, Mo. Love you.
All right,
So,
guys.
Dude, that's what we do, man. That's what we do. And you know what's crazy, Suman? Look, I don't know, man. Maybe it's me. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm too small or something. Maybe I'm not so manly enough for the Melbourne public, dude. It's such. I got to tell people out there, listen, we accept everyone and everyone. No matter what you do, where you come from, your background, who you train with. Listen, I won't tell your teacher. I won't tell. You know what
I know exactly what you're saying.
I mean? Man, it's just ridiculous, man. And you think anyone invites me? You think anyone would say, hey, listen, man, look, we got some guys, MMA guys. Listen, we reckon maybe you can help us out. Man, I would go for free. Suman, I would go for free for an hour. I would go there and break down some basic positions that they need to look at on the ground. And, man, I will blow them fucking doors off them. I'll blow them away. Not blow them away as in, beat them. I'm saying I would blow their mind and melt it with the situations that Eddie has taught me to put myself in and absolutely fucking love it. All right? Now, it's proven system. I just, I don't know, man. I don't know. Suman, I would love to come and do a seminar down your place, man. No worries, dude. Anytime, I'd love it. And it just blows my mind that so many people in Melbourne just, I don't know, man. I mean, they can't ignore us forever. I mean, the flood's coming. Eddie's fighting in 2 weeks.
I heard in Singapore, like, there's a lot of beef between some gyms. Is that true?
Yeah.
See, it's kind of the same. In Sydney, there's particular gyms that don't like each other, obviously. But me, as a gym owner myself, I invite guys from a lot of other gyms myself to come and train with us. I'm not trying to steal anyone's students or anything, just because, in my opinion, and this is something that Rob Lacita had said to me. He goes, if you want to be the best, why are all the Americans and all these guys the best? Why? Because they have so many high-level guys training together.
Yes.
Not one or two guys. You go into American top team or AKA or something like that. You've got all these great UFC stars, Bellator stars, ONE FC stars. You got all these guys in one room.
Yeah.
And to be the best, you're as good as your training partners. So what I try and do is I try and encourage any guys that I can to come and down and spar with us and roll around with us and just do whatever we can. I don't look at it like, no, we don't want people to find out our secrets or anything. I don't look at it like that. I want the best training for myself and my guys. And to do that, I know that I need to go and I've got 20 good guys here, 20 great guys. But after we train together every day, it gets repetitive and we know our style. So we need to go and go to other gyms or they come with us. I try and as much as I can incorporate that in mixing up our gym with other gyms, just trying to help each other out for the bigger cause, because I don't see it as us compete. I don't find us as Australian superstars competing with other Australians. I want to get my guys onto a world stage. That's how I'm looking at it. So I think anyone in Australia, let's help each other out so we can beat these guys who reckon that we're not shit. When we go onto the Ultimate Fighter and they blow us off, we need to be training together to develop our skills enough to compete with these high-level guys.
Yeah, that's true, man. And for those who doubt 10 Planet style, I've watched this instructional where Eddie Bravo was with Dean Lister in Korea. And Dean was actually quite doubtful of the mission control. So Eddie showed him and Dean cannot get out of the mission control. So that says everything.
Eddie's not normal.
Yeah, Eddie's a special cat, man. Eddie's he's got so much talent and ability. I mean, he never describes himself as ever being an athlete and whatnot, man. I reckon that's just, I don't agree with him at all. I mean, I love Eddie to death. We're boys. We're close as hell.
You know the guy that plays Renato Laranja?
Yeah. I love that guy.
Did you ever rolled with him?
Yeah. Look, I'm not sure how much I should say, but because he's about to. Sorry. He's about to premiere his own show on the 20th of April.
Wow.
On International Cannabis Day.
International Cannabis Day. Because I saw a long time ago, when they did that muck around video where he put Eddie to sleep?
Yeah.
I swear, the first time I saw that, I thought it was legit. I didn't know anything. I just saw this guy, and it's like Eddie Bravo getting put to sleep. And I'd never heard of Renato Laranja. I was like, who the hell is this guy?
Hey, he's a 27-time world jiu-jitsu champion, bro. Come on.
I swear, I turned around to my instructor, and I'm like, did you hear about that 27 times? And he looked at me like funny, and he's like, no. And he's like, what are you talking about? There's no 20. He's like, man, are you talking about Roger Gracie or something? And he was like, just looking at me, dumbfounded. And I showed him the video, and he just looked at me and smacked me on the back of the head. And he was like, it's a joke. So he had me going. And the videos of him teasing Joe Rogan, following him around and pissing Joe Rogan off, they're hilarious. Now I wanted to ask. Now I know that I think he was a brown belt when I was reading up. He might be a black belt now, but I don't know.
No,
He's a brown belt?
Yeah, he is. Let me tell you, Rasan's one of my good friends, man. Rasan stayed at my house. Yeah, we we've been friends for years, man. Rasan's cool as hell, man. He's tight, man. His ground game, man. He's a beast on the ground.
Is he legit? Is he good? Because I've always wanted to think like, okay, he's got a great personality and he's real funny to watch and everything like that. But I just wanted to know, how good is he actually on the floor?
Mate, he's one of Eddie's top brown belts.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, man. Rasan's cool. Look, I've got to.
Does he train often?
Yeah, that's the thing I was going to get at to. Lately, I mean, he's such a big star now, you know, in the jiu-jitsu world with his Renato Larancha thing. But that, you know, it's not hasn't distracted him, but you know, he's just moving on to other things, and his time's a little bit maybe compromised a little bit because of it. So he's not training. I haven't seen him around the dojo as much as I used to, but I know he's training everywhere else as well. So he's getting in his mat time, you know, here and there as well. I would imagine. I mean, I haven't spoken to him about it specifically, but from what I've been noticing, he's been, you know, he's busy. He's everywhere, man. You look at the videos, man. He's everywhere. He's at Henzo's. He's freaking everywhere.
If you go to,
I would imagine he's a little busy, but I'm not saying he's not training. But I haven't seen him that much down at HQ anyway.
If you ever see him, if you see him when you go back to America this time, I need you to please make a shout out video. Like, I want him to like say some stuff, and I want him to call me out. I want him to call me out.
All right, you know what you got to do? Listen, hit me up in an email on Facebook, and that'll remind me because I check it regularly. And when I go, I will, because mate, I'll bump into him for sure.
Awesome, thank you.
All right, guys, let's move on to UFC 171. I believe it was a very, very good show. You guys watched the prelims?
Yeah, I watched a few of them. Yeah, most of them.
Yeah, prelims was stuck with three split decisions. The first one was Sean Spencer, Alex Garcia. It was a back and forth bout. Any of you guys watch that?
Yeah,
no,
I saw it.
Watch that. No, go ahead, Simon.
Yeah, I saw it. Man, there was some bombs thrown from Alex Garcia, and then there was some bombs thrown with Sean Spencer. You know, I thought Sean Spencer, I think it was in the second round, nearly had him. I thought he was gonna knock him out. You know, when he landed that big right hand, but I know there was a bit of controversy with the decision, and I as well may have thought, you know, Sean Spencer could have taken it, but then at the same time, I can see what they said with Alex Garcia. There was a lot of boos after the fight, obviously, but yeah, split decision win to Alex Garcia. Great fight, still entertaining to watch.
All right, another split decision. Raquel Pennington with Georgia Andrade. Jessica Andrade, I'm sorry.
Yeah, what did you think about that fight?
I thought the women's division in the UFC upped a game about that fight, because previously,
yeah, how good was the strike? Like, they were they were throwing bombs at each other.
Because previously a lot of women UFC fights was not this good. Then I was really surprised watching that fight, man.
Nah, Raquel's a great fighter. You know, she brings it. She's a brawler, you know. And Andrade, they got big raps on her. They're saying that she could drop down to 115 when the 115 division opens.
Yeah,
wow,
that's great, man. I love to watch this kind of women fights, because it shows that women do have a stage beside with the men, because previously UFC does not have this kind of good fights. Even the one before, there was this fight during Rousey and Sarah Kaufman. There was another girl fight. I forget both competitors. That was a really high level stuff, man.
Yeah. I think that Raquel Pennington won that fight though.
Yeah, so do I. Have to agree. I mean, the other girl was rushing in a lot and just swinging, man. She was like, you know what I said to my wife? I said, hey, Kat, I said, check this out. And she was just running in, and she was eating two and giving two, eating two and giving two. You know, I was like, man, I mean, look, I know they've got a big rap on this girl, but there's a lot of improving I think she can make, and like just having some basic good bobbing and weaving and punching off a weave and so on. You know, I mean, it was entertaining. Yeah, I loved watching it, and you can see Pennington had more of that awareness, that boxer's mentality awareness, and picking her shots a little better than the other girl was. And for the other chick to get that decision, I don't know, man. I disagreed as well.
You could see that Andrade fought like a Brazilian, you know, just wow.
She looked like, that's what I said to Karina, my wife. I said, she looks like a female version of Vanderlei Silva.
Yeah, it goes in there.
Man, that's what I was trying to say. Yeah, that's right.
Are we talking about Pride Vanderlei Silva or
UFC Vanderlei Silva?
Yeah, because if it was Pride Vanderlei Silva, we'd be calling her Cyborg. Steroided up. The steroided up Vanderlei.
I just think that the Jesus feet, sink your feet in the ground and just spin like a robot and just swing. That kind of zombie apocalypse style fighting was what she brought to the cage. And listen, I loved watching it. It was hilarious. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I loved it. I think the girls have got a definite place. I agree with you, Muhammad, as well. I think the girls have definitely got a place, mate. They've got skills, man. I mean, look at these top level.
It's growing. It's really growing.
All right, man. That's just really good for the sport. Next split decision: Kevin Gastelum, Rick Story. Suman.
Okay, I love Kelvin Gastelum. He is cool, man. I like it. And watching him on The Ultimate Fighter, on my favorite season of The Ultimate Fighter with John Jones and Charles Sonnen, seeing him grow as a fighter and him being like one of the underdogs and coming through, being Uriah Hall, and then coming in and walking right through Brian Melanson, that was amazing. He showed in the first round that his level was above Rick Story's. Now I think he gassed out. And he nearly got knocked out. I think he got saved by the bell in that second round.
Yep.
So I had it 1 round apiece. I saw Kelvin Gastelum in the third round. He was landing more punches. Got taken down. I was worried about the decision. I wanted Kelvin Gastelum to win, but I thought if Rick Story wins this fight right now, then you can't argue with it. In my opinion, I thought Rick Story had won that fight. Based on the last 2 rounds, I'm happy that Kelvin won, and I'm not going to dispute it as much as I would the Raquel Pennington fight or even the Sean Spencer fight. But it was a very, very, very close fight.
Yeah, it was a close fight. Hey, Suman, did you know that Calvin is from 10th Planet Yuma?
10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu. Yeah, he's a purple belt in 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu, right?
He is, man. He is. He's one of our boys, and it's great. Isn't it great to see them slowly start to pick their way into the big time? It's very exciting, man.
You know what's real cool about it? I always I don't know why, but I always look back on fighters' sheerdog records. Now, a sheerdog record of a fighter is now every person looks at it. That when the UFC come to check out people's people for tough in Australia, they don't ask them to bring their pro record because we have our pro records written down in a little Combat Sports Authority book. They say, "What's your sheerdog record?" And that's all that matters to them now. So I looked at Kelvin Gastelum's record on Wikipedia actually. I clicked on the sheerdog and then I went on to Wikipedia. Maybe I could find something else about him. I like to know about the fighters, like little interesting facts. Went on to Wikipedia and it actually says he's a 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu purple belt.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Yes, he is, and it's great, man. And look, I was super impressed with him. I think one thing I think that might have got him over the line, Suman, was that jab, man. He was on point with that jab.
He found his mark on that jab, and I'm happy that he won that fight. Why? Because unlike the fight that one of my boys had on the weekend, I think the guy who landed more damage in the third round won that third round, not the guy that scored the takedown. And I think sometimes the takedown's a bit too overemphasized in MMA. They score the takedown, but then the guy on the bottom's landing elbows, going for armbars, going for triangles. Where's his credit for that? For being active.
Yeah. Look, it's a close fight. Look, I agree it was close. Could have gone either way. And look, we got the nod, and I'm super stoked for Calvin, man. I mean,
I think that kid's gonna be a superstar. Honestly, because I know he's young. He's 22 years old. He's just a year or two older than. He's a year older than me. He's young, so maybe when he fixes up his diet and things like that, because they were saying in the Ultimate Fighter House that he had the worst diet out of everyone. I think once he fixes up his diet, he gets his weight cut right, because I heard he was looking pretty bad at that weigh-in.
Yeah.
I think once he gets all that right, he could be something serious to deal with. Imagine this kid in 3 years' time if he just keeps learning. Doesn't think that what he's got is enough to get him over if he keeps learning.
No, I feel what gets him over was he was crashing Uriah Hall hype trade back into UF.
Yeah.
Yes. So basically, that was what made people want to watch him, and this winning Rick Story will just keep elevating him despite all the weight cut problems that he had. He in the end got it in the third attempt, isn't it?
Yeah, he got it.
Yep. So that's great.
Who
The
do you
next
think is for him?
So the next fight was but I did not get any animations of that. But Dennis Bermudez was really killing Hattis, if I'm not wrong. Is that true, Suman?
Yeah. Man, Dennis Bermudez is someone that I've been watching. You know, someone I really like his style. He's another featherweight fighter, so I like to look at featherweight fighters and you know, they say train until you're you're like the guys that you look up to. You know, you want them to be your rivals one day. Um, and and he's the guy that I look at, and I really look up to him. You know, he's real cool. I remember watching him on The Ultimate Fighter where he nearly knocked out Diego Brandao, and I think he's just gotten better and better and better. He knows how to win a fight. We know that. He knows how to grind them out. He's got a good wrestling base, some great headlock chokes, some guillotines and things like that. But I loved how he wasn't worried about just sitting in. He knew what Jim Hedges wanted to do. He wanted to kind of clinch up with him, get a judo throw, and get that control. But I think he used his striking and his wrestling to overcome that and just smashed him up, man. He belted the crap out of him. Jim didn't want any more to do with that fight in the third round. That was a great performance. I think he's 6-0 now in the UFC since losing to Diego Brandao. And I think he's ready for some higher level guys, man. I think he's legit.
All right, let's go to the main event. Frank, OSP and Nikita Krylov. He was in a guillotine. Then he pulled off some kind of submission that I wasn't aware of. Frank, what was that about?
Hang on, wait. Who are you talking about?
Ovin Sempru versus Nikita Krylov.
Yes.
Von
Yes.
Flucho.
Yes, Von Flu.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, beautiful, man. That was coming on. I'm like, man, he's gonna Von Flu him. Man, he's gonna Von Flu him. He's gonna try knee on belly. He's got it. And then next thing you know, the other dude's legs are trembling and he's out cold. Let me explain this Von Flu choke real quick, okay?
All right.
Basically, imagine you go for a guillotine on me, okay? And I've got my head under your left armpit. All right. What we do is we jump out to the opposite side. So if my head is under your left armpit, my body's gonna be to your right hand side in side control. So imagine you still got a guillotine, all right? And you've got head and arm. So you got the arm as well, not just the neck, all right? If you've just got the neck, you can't do the Von Flu. You got to have head and arm. They've got to go for an arm in guillotine. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So imagine you go for an arm in guillotine when my head's under your left armpit, and I walk around to side control, and you still got my head. If the person who's got the guillotine doesn't realize this, he needs to pummel in and look for an underhook, because if the person on top can join his hands together with a gable grip, which is what he did, and then go knee on belly and drive that left shoulder into the neck, you will go out in 7 seconds, no doubt.
Yeah,
no
that's
doubt.
right.
Squeeze. If the guy's got squeeze, you will go out in around 6 to 7 seconds. Why? Because you think you're okay. You think you're okay, and then you're watching unicorns ride past you, okay?
Wow.
Yeah,
I think it's a really effective thing that I actually tell all my guys to do. It's something that we actually work on. Because a lot of guys that get that guillotine and the guy passes, they seem to not let it go. They just want to pop someone's head off. Keep holding on, and you're gonna get put to sleep. You know. When I was watching that on the weekend with some of the boys, I was shouting out Von Flu, Von Flu. I'm like, he's gonna go for it, and then he was like, I looked away, or I looked down. I think I was eating. I looked down for 1 second, looked back up, and as soon as I looked back up, he was out. And then the boys are like, man, you called it. And I'm like, I saw that coming from about 1 million miles away. Too bad that Nikita couldn't see it, because he was asleep.
Yeah, obviously he had no idea. I mean, Suman, obviously he didn't realize. I mean, mate, if I'm holding on a guillotine, the only reason I would continue to hang on to it is that if I actually waited for you to pass and then throw my shoulders towards your left knee, curling you up, I actually do a wrestler's rollover. It's like a reversal wrestler's rollover. I lift my hips, I elevate you, and man, I'm a small guy, but I can flip pretty much anyone in that moment. But if you're onto me and you're trying to stop me and get your grip together, man, I bridge, create some space, I pummel my left arm underneath the far armpit, I kick belly down, my right leg kicks out to the side, and I look for dogfight immediately and challenge him to either stand up or to try and sweep him in the dogfight. So, I mean, that's a really delicate position. You got to study that position, man. If you want to be good, if you start hanging on to guillotines, and it's very much a white belt, blue belt thing, where people get it finally, and they're like, oh, I'm going to choke out my teacher or whoever it is. And then all of a sudden, you know, we can reverse that and put them to sleep with the Von Flu. So it's a high priority in our system. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
So it works exactly like a head and arm choke, isn't it?
It's a guillotine. Now, basically, if someone's got you in a guillotine, it's like a head and arm, exactly. It's kind of like that. But their arm is not like completely across their neck where you're trapped with your head. It's actually still in front. But because of the nature of the grip and the way that you're driving your left shoulder into their neck, you're isolating, and you put your right knee on their belly. So what you're doing is, every time they're expiring, you're squeezing their neck, and also you're driving your knee into their belly. So their lungs are under enormous amount of strain. And what it does, it really blows your head up. It fills really quickly with blood, and you find you're restricted. You think you're okay, and then it's too late to tap. This happened to me, and you can't let go, because what happens is, you shrug your right shoulder into their bottom hand. And when you join your hands together, they cannot remove their hands now. They're stuck. Yep. And now you're pretty much, your health is in the hands of the person on top if he's got enough squeeze to finish, because you can't get out of it. When I was in LA in 2008, I just got off a plane and I went straight to HQ at La Brea in Hollywood. And one of my good friends, Alder Hampel, he's a brown belt there. And the Von Flu choke just came out because it was at the time that the Ultimate Fighter, when that guy, Mr. Von Flu, whatever his name is, did it, right? Anyway, so I'm rolling. Can you imagine I have my first roll, Suman, right? So we do our warm-ups, do our drills. We start rolling. Alder grabs me, right? And what did I love to do when I was a blue belt? Guillotines, man. So I sunk in that spin guillotine. He passed my guard, and I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to roll him over. Mate, next thing I know, he's clicking his fingers in front of my face. But I was asleep. I was snoring. He reckons I was snoring and everything. That's hilarious.
Good thing you didn't piss yourself.
Well, you know,
I've seen that before.
Yeah, and worse. Listen, man. Josh Barnett, Gene LaBelle, they love shitters. They love shitters.
Yeah.
All right, from the Von Flu choke to Jake Shields and Hector Lombard. Hector Lombard was so impressive. I never thought. But to tell you the truth, I just watched it this morning. And in the first round, when I saw that Jake Shields did not land that takedown, I know it was over for him.
Yeah.
I knew that fight was over when it got booked. You know, like, I don't know, like, listen, I think that everyone who's talking about all these guys, I know he's only had 2 fights at welterweight, but Lombard is a title contender. You know, he can put guys to sleep. And you know what was real good to see from Lombard? Him utilize his judo.
Yeah.
His judo was fucking sick.
That was fucking awesome, dude. His judo throws.
The way he ragdolled Jake Shields was amazing. You know, he was dropping him on his head, picking him back up, landing big bombs. You know, but he wasn't getting overly crazy. You know what? That's kind of good to see from him. You know, he didn't go nuts. He picked his shots, scored his takedowns. And I think he did what he had to do. Some people were criticizing him because he didn't go for the finish. Man, fuck that. He beat the shit out of Jake Shields.
Yeah. Yeah, I was worried for Jake. I mean, when he was struggling to get Hector down, I thought, you know, this could be curtains for him. Yeah, if Hector starts tagging him and listen, Suman, let me say, Jake Shields has got a chin, man. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, no, he does, man.
He's tough, dude, and this is the thing. Jake just needs he doesn't need a lot of opportunities to finish. You know what I mean? So, and we look. I mean, I wonder how close that choke was in the end, right, Suman?
Yeah, I was shitting myself watching it.
Yeah, it was deep, dude. It was dangerous, but man, you know, he was trying to. Look, hats off. He was trying, man. Not like he was just standing there getting killed. He was trying, and yes. Hector's takedowns, his judo was sick. It was so on point. You know, I thought he frustrates me a little bit, though, Suman. I mean, I love Hector, I really do. But he frustrates me because he just stands there sometimes, and I'm like, fucking hell, man. You know, he looks like an action figure. You know, like I feel like when I watch Hector, I feel like picking up a remote control. You know, and like I'm playing fucking Street Fighter or something. He's so freaking yoked and so fucking plastic.
You know what's something I would love to watch? And this, I'm sure, like, you guys haven't even thought about this. If he went back to 185, I would love to watch Hector Lombard versus Yoel Romero.
Ah.
Man, those two guys, they're both Cuban. They both stand the same and think that they can take anything and give anything, and I think that would be a real cool fight to watch. Yoel Romero versus Hector Lombard. You know, he does stand a bit flat-footed sometimes, but hey, what he does is working. I haven't seen him get knocked out. You know,
no, I'm just saying, no, absolutely, Sumo. Of course, mate. The numbers don't lie, but I'm saying, like, for me personally, you know,
you want to see him move a bit.
I would like to see him a little more elusive and then land those bombs, you know, open him up a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
But, mate, hey, listen, I'm a fan, dude. Come on, Hector's awesome, dude. Come on, seriously. Look what he did to Jake Shields. Fucking hell. Seriously. That's Jake Shields. That's not like, I don't know, that's not like the dude that said, let me bang, bro. It's not like... It's not like...
Jake Shields is legit.
Shields, man. He's one of the premier grapplers. And, mate, you see what he did to Henderson? Come on, dude. He's legit. Look at it. But, you know, it was a hard day for Jake, you know?
Yeah, I saw the first round when Jake didn't get the takedown. His face was so worried. I know it would be the end for him. That's it.
Poor guy.
Yeah, poor guy.
Put the coffee on. Yeah.
All right. Next up, Diego Sanchez versus Miles Jury. How smart was Miles Jury?
A genius.
Yep.
I'm so surprised he never got drawn into what Diego was trying to do, you know, because we all knew that was going to happen, and I don't know, I think I said it to you before when I said he's gonna be real strong on that jab. He's gonna be real strong on that jab, and he's gonna be moving, you know. But it wasn't so much his jab; it was him using that jab and then waiting for Diego to run in, land that right hand, and then slip out. You know, it was great. It showed maturity beyond his years. You know, he's only 24 or 25 years old. Man, he was real mature about that fight. It was good to watch. And I think it's the end for Diego. As much as people would love to keep seeing him in the UFC, I think we're just gonna keep seeing him lose in the UFC. You know, people are figuring him out, and I think it's Miles Jury's time.
All right, hold on. I got Nick Harris on. Nick, are you there? Oh God, his connection is bad. Hold on. Okay, I got him off. Frank, you talk about Diego Sanchez versus Miles Jury. I'll try to get Nick Harris on again.
Oh, no worries, man. Look, personally, I thought Diego Sanchez is looking a little bit more and more like Leonard Garcia. You know what I mean? Where do you remember, Simon? Do you remember when Leonard started just? I mean, he quieted down a little bit. Greg Jackson must have really worked hard with him. He kind of showed shades of him being more disciplined and more.
Hello.
But I think Diego Sanchez is that kind of guy now. I think he's just all emotional and he's swinging hard. He's trying hard. I mean, you can't deny Diego's heart and his warrior spirit. The guy's a savage, you know. He's a beast. But, you know, he's just so predictable. He's coming in swinging from 4 miles away, and he looks like like when your kids play with an action toy, you know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a bit robotic.
Yeah, a little bit too zombie apocalypse for me. Look, I love Diego Sanchez, but you know what? There was a time when he was working his uppercut on the right. There was a time when he was really being more disciplined with his striking. When he's putting things together, he was electrifying back then. You know, I haven't seen that in a while. And I mean, I loved the Melendez fight when he fought Gilbert. I mean, I thought he put on a way better performance than he did yesterday.
Yeah, but Gilbert played into his style.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. This is what I feel. Hold on, Nick, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. What's up?
Where are you right now, bro? That background is so noisy.
Sorry. All right. Yeah, I was in another room. Now I'm moving into my room. So yeah.
All right, that's great. Did you watch the Diego Sanchez versus Miles Jury fight?
I was disappointed as shit in Diego Sanchez, man. What the flying shit? That wasn't Diego Sanchez that I know, man. Like,
Nick, hold on. You can say fuck in this show.
Oh, what the flying thumb stain? Shit, man. What the flying fuck, you know?
No, but the thing is, I believe you guys agree with this. If any fighter does not play with Diego's style, Diego's gonna lose.
Yeah.
that's it.
Nick, you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree, but here's the thing. In order for the UFC to properly use Diego Sanchez, right, they gotta do it. They gotta do it as though like because Diego is not gonna be touching. He's not gonna be touching the title anytime soon, right?
Yep.
So he should be in the middle. So I believe that he should be in the middle of the pack, fighting against like the craziest of brawlers because it's Diego Sanchez, man. When he fights against another brawler, you know for a fact that he's just gonna stand in front of you, block your punches with his face, and
Yeah, that's true. I would love to see Diego fight again. It doesn't matter if he lose, but you just have to put someone that is not smart as Miles Jury.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, who's gonna put their hand up for that one, Mo? Yeah, yeah, you're the man of the year. Fucking hell. I guess Joe Silva's job is well and truly safe for now, right?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe so.
All right, guys. Before I carry on to the next fight, I just would like to introduce ONE FC fighter Nick Harris, Malaysian ONE FC fighter from Wayfit, Frank Barca, 10 Planet, Melbourne Jiu-Jitsu instructor, and Suman Mutarian, Australian top team. Meet up, say hi to each other.
Hey man, what's happening?
Hello, hi Frank. Hello, Suman. Nice to meet you guys.
Good
You
to have
too,
you on
man,
the
you
show, man.
too.
Yeah, perfect.
All right, next up, Tyron Woodley and Carlos Condit. Frank, how bad was that knee?
Look, apparently, Tate Fletcher is a good friend of mine. I don't know if you guys know Tate Fletcher, but Tate Fletcher is a good friend of mine. He spent a lot of time over there. He knows the camp over there very well. And he made some comments that I always pay attention to Tate. He knows what's going on. He's plugged in. And apparently it's an old injury that's rearing its ugly head, and something that I would imagine Carlos was hoping wouldn't show up last night, but it obviously did. And you know he's hurt pretty bad. I mean I don't know what the results are. Does anyone know what happened exactly, or if he's done a ACL?
Torn meniscus and a possible ACL tear.
Oh, that sucks.
Oh, that's about a year and a half out, man. Shit.
Yeah,
18 months straight away.
Oh, fuck.
And you know what? Did you see his face when it happened? Did you remember there was an incident before the leg kick? Do you remember the incident before, everyone? And he winced in pain, and I thought, oh shit, could be ribs, could be something. But then as he stood up, and we knew it was the knee, you know.
Yeah.
You know, full credit to him for actually standing back up on the knee and trying to fight on. Good on him, because I'm sure as soon as he got taken down, he knew that something was wrong, and he stood up again and he tried. But that's what you want to see. Carlos Condit is a warrior, and it's a shame to see that happen. It's a shame to see that happen to any fighter, unless it's Ben Askren.
I agree. I agree with that.
Thank you, Nick.
Yeah,
No.
but I gotta say something else, if I may. Look, I just felt that Woodley, man, listen. How tough is Condit really? I mean, what a chin that dude has. Seriously,
yeah.
he's like a zombie. He must be an alien from Jupiter or something, because Woodley landed some heavy shots. Woodley like 3 weight classes bigger than him, man. Seriously.
Oh yeah.
Woodley's as big as Anthony Rumble Johnson at 170.
Wow,
Yeah.
he's a monster. There's another figure.
Like Nick, you watched the first round. Tyron was so good at distancing himself and then leaping in with the right hand, leaping in with his left jab. He won the first round. Square.
Personally, I think he did win a bit of the first round based on how he handled the fight. But here's the thing about Carlos Condit: he's a fighter that gets better and better as the round progresses.
Yeah.
So early on, like if you watch most of Condit's fights, right? He normally,
He's a slow starter.
yeah, he's a slow starter, and of course, Condit being Condit, he has a very different kind of style towards him, only a style that only Condit can do.
Yeah.
And, the thing that disappointed me the most is Condit's a warrior. Condit is a guy that's down to fight, and it's just anticlimactic to see the fight end that way. And frankly, I was disappointed. I expected it to go into 3 rounds and both of them kill each other, you know?
Nick, you want death? Jesus, man.
No, not death. And just, it is.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
At least a broken nose or something.
Yeah, at least a broken nose, some blood in there,
Yeah, I thought it would be a great fight if it went on for 3 rounds, but yeah, that's kind of unfortunate, isn't it?
Yeah, look, I wish Carlos Condit a very speedy recovery, man. I mean, these injuries are bad. I mean, you know, Suman, Nick, you guys are fighters. You know, I mean, when you get hurt like that, you know, man, you're looking at the next year and a half. You're absolutely right, Nick. Of what are you going to do? What the fuck are you going to do, man? You go, how are you going to earn money? How are you going to keep people interested? How are you going to, you know,
I'll tell you
get
something.
out there? It's hard, man.
If that happened to me, you know, and like I tore my ACL and I had to spend a year and a half out, man. Even with my age, I don't know how I would come back. It's such a major injury, and you know you have to give those fighters that do come back. You know, it's a long road, and people don't realize how hard it is. You know, I've had many of my friends get these injuries, and man, I don't know how I would bounce back from it. It's a serious thing. So if we see Carlos Condit come back, man, I'm telling you, if he comes back, he'll be more motivated than ever. If you can get through that mentally, it's a great thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mind me just saying something. My dad's like a really wise guy, a really smart guy, and he has this philosophy about fighters. He says that you're only as good as your last win, and you're only as bad as your last injury. So it's gonna be a really uphill climb for Condit to come back, and there's gonna be a lot of barriers towards his entry back into the top game.
Yeah.
But of course, Condit's relatively young. He's about what, 32, 33?
I don't know. That's relative young in fight years.
Well, okay, relatively young, maybe not relatively young, but not that old, you know?
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
I
Let's.
feel like a child. You saying that?
Jesus Christ, come on, man.
21. I'm 21 and I feel like my body's breaking down. I'm like, I don't know how long I can do this for.
You got to train smart, Suman. You got to train smart, dude.
I'm probably the biggest idiot you know.
Oh, yeah.
My instructors, I'm like, oh man, my neck's really hurting, you know. And then he's like, oh, then why are you putting your gi on? And I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna train anyway. I'm not gonna roll. As soon as I'm like, I just want to do technique, you know. But as soon as I get onto the mats and I start doing technique, I'm like, nah, it should be all right, you know. And then and I'll be like, I'll roll with the light guys. So I'll roll around, and then next one, someone will come and like point at me. I'll be like, yeah, you want to call me out? Let's do this. I'm like, all right, it's on now. I forget about the neck injury. I walk off the mats, and my girlfriend's like, you're an idiot. I'm like, don't talk to me.
You are. And what are you doing? And what are you doing rolling in a gi when you're freaking training for MMA? What's the matter with you?
Oh, 10 Planet versus Gi. Come on, let's go.
Come on, man. Seriously?
Back into that. No, man, like I said, I train in my gi every day, no matter what. Leading into a fight, I'll take my gi off. But I don't know when my next fight is booked. I can't book a fight in Australia. And you know what? A lot of people are saying to me, listen, you should turn pro, blah, 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 blah. But they're saying, you know, you shouldn't be fighting against the amateurs. But the way I feel, I want, like I said before, I want to develop everything before I turn pro. I don't want to be an idiot that turned pro too quick. And people might criticize me and saying I don't want to test myself. Man, I want to test myself. But I've set some goals in place for myself before I turn pro, and I guarantee you, when I turn pro, everyone's in trouble.
Oh, yeah, I love that confidence, man. I love that confidence.
Yeah, man. When I turn pro, I'm not gonna be one of these guys to pick and choose my fights. When I turn pro, I'm going straight for the top. You know, I want to be that guy that everyone wants an easy win against. I hope everyone thinks that I'm an easy win because I've had no pro fights. I want to get my experience as an amateur. And you know, I'm doing my no-gi. I'm wrestling every day. You know, I'm wrestling. Oh, okay, that's a lie. I lied to you all this. And I'm wrestling 3-4 days. I'm doing no-gi 3 or 4 days a week, but I do train with my gi every day. Every day, I'm doing 4 sessions a day. You know, some people like to put photos and videos up of them fighting, and training on Facebook, and I do every now and then. But I don't need to tell you that I'm training every night. But I am training every night, you know. I'm breaking my body down, but I'm doing everything, you know. And I'm gonna come back bigger, better than I did in my last fight. I had 2 days notice, and I was real disappointed with my performance. And people said that it was a great fight, but it's not good enough for me. I'm shooting to become the best, and that's what I'm aiming for. So Frank, stop giving me shit for my gi.
Oh, come on, man. I was kidding, man.
Listen, when I come to Melbourne, listen, you can show me some stuff. I'll get a 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu rash guard. I'll come back. I'll wear it in front of my instructor and piss him off a bit, and I'll say, listen, I don't do this gi stuff anymore. So I'm gonna say I'm a 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu fight. Do one seminar with me, and I'll just start labeling myself a 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu.
No, dude, you wear the gi rash guard that Renato Laranja wears.
Man, if I had that rash guard, the one with he wears the black belt, that's awesome. I actually tried to buy one online. It was I couldn't find one.
Yeah, Suma, listen, man, I'm going to rock up Sydney one day and I'm going to do a gi seminar, all right, just for you.
You're going to do a gi seminar? Wait, Frank.
Oh, that's the biggest joke I've ever heard, man.
Frank, do you own a gi?
Do I what?
Do you own a gi?
Mate, I got about 17 of them.
When's the last time you trained in a gi?
For jiu-jitsu?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
What else did you train in a gi for? Karate?
No,
I use my gi to sleep, so
No, man, that's another story. That's another story. I've done classical martial arts. I've done freestyle karate. I've done all sorts of things. So I grew up in the gi, the whole thing. But Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, the last time I wore a gi, honestly, was 2006.
Oh my god.
Wow. And do you feel naked now when you roll? Honestly,
It-
when I take my gi off, right? Like I honestly, I feel like everyone's staring at my butt or something. I'm like, I feel a bit awkward here. When I put my gi on, I feel like Superman. I walk around with a strut, with my thumbs inside my belt, a bit like Renato Laranja,
Dude.
I feel like a boss.
Is that how you're doing your 4 sessions a day? Jesus Christ, dude.
By sessions, I mean I stand on the corner and look pretty. Well.
All right. Let's get Nick on the conversation. Nick, gi or no gi?
Well, to be fair, I believe that gi is good for MMA, but no gi. No gi is good for MMA, but gi is good for your fundamentals. Because if you understand the fundamentals of gi, I think you'll be able to understand more on no gi as well.
But how do you prefer to train and Mayfit?
I train the most. When it comes to training, I don't have like a scientific way to his training. I just do whatever works for me, and I analyze my weaknesses and I work on curbing those weaknesses. So yeah.
More gi or more no gi?
Well, personally, it depends on what type of fighter you are. If you're the type that needs more technical jiu-jitsu in your game, more gi. Whereas if you're like one of those guys that uses jiu-jitsu strictly to defend yourself, just to get back up, no gi.
I believe Frank disagree with that.
So, wow, I don't know whether I want to. I don't know. I don't have all night.
Frank's punching on.
Me, huh?
Listen, man. Listen. First, I just want to say this once again, for the 15th time on this show. I do not have a problem with the gi. I love jiu-jitsu. I'm a fucking huge fan. Are you crazy? I teach my kids martial arts. Fucking, they're little beasts. Listen.
That's not what you told me. That's not what you told me on the weekend.
Yeah.
You were like, man, I don't want to do that Brazilian stuff. I don't want to listen.
Oh shit!
Prank caller. No, seriously. Come on, seriously. Listen.
All right.
Here's the thing. For man, in my world, training with Eddie and all of the killers over there in LA, no gi, spending time. Let me tell you, man, no gi in my world. This is Nick. This is out of my eyes, okay? This is just my opinion.
All right. Okay.
It is the most technical part of my martial arts career I've ever had to work in. I've been in martial arts. This is this March just now. I just passed is my 35th year in martial arts. 35 years I've been in martial arts, wow. And all the martial arts that I've studied have been killer arts. None of this, smoke and mirrors type stuff. All very functional, practical, very street orientated, very, you know, pressure tested type stuff. And I spent a long time now in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, man, with the no-gi that I've been training in over these 8 years. I've been doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for 10, but 8 years with Eddie. It's been the most technical time of my entire career. And I understand, Nick, when you say about technical, use the word technical with the gi, I understand that. But no gi, in my life, in my world, in the 10th planet system, all those fundamentals are all taken care of. We have a set of 8 exercises that we do, one series every single night, 4 days a week, and we rotate it. And these are the most essential or fundamental basics in all of jiu-jitsu. They cover all areas: open guard, de la riva, spiral, X, deep half. We work on standing passes, pressure passes. We work on Hail Mary attacks, meaning, you know, like if we need to finish the fight real quick and we're running out of time, we've got a Hail Mary set, which is the Marcelo team. It's a rolling Kimura to the back, and it's also a straight ankle lock, which leads to a heel hook as well. We've got escapes that we work, which are very Granby orientated, which you see a lot of the de la riva, the reverse spiral, birimbolos. We got them in our system as well. Our deep half quarter guard, our half guard drills, our rubber guard, as you know, our twister game, our back game as well. Look, it's just, what I'm trying to say, Nick, is that it's just as technical. And for me, applying 8 years in the no-gi world, it is super technical. I've trained with guys like Dean Lister as well, Robert Drysdale as well. I mean, they're all super technical nuances with no gi. When you're talking about controlling a man that is sweaty, a man that does not have a garment on his body that's very, very slippery, you've got to get super freaking good at controlling that dude and being able to isolate his limbs, isolate his neck, and get in there and secure a lock, secure the position, put the pressure in the right place, get as much of you around as little as them as possible to finish the deal, to seal the deal, to be able to close the show. And for me, it's super crazy technical. And you know what? I'm not even thinking about the gi, man, because I'm melting. My brain melts every day that I have to go through and study what I'm going to be doing, studying the work I'm putting in, studying my attacks, and stringing all my pathways together. Listen, man, it's technical. It is.
Yeah.
All right, I had input from everyone, and I believe this discussion gonna come up again in our next few shows. But anyways, let's move.
Ongoing topic that will never.
Yeah, it will
ever
never end. But anyways,
hey, we're gonna see 10th planet jiu-jitsu against
Gracie Jiu-Jitsu.
against Gracie Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
Hunter Gracie, I know, is one of those guys that's like, nah, man, you have to train in your gi, man. You know, all that shit, you know, in his Brazilian accent. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen. Is 10th planet jiu-jitsu gonna prevail, or is the good old style of wearing your gi and then taking it off just to have a battle? Which one's gonna win? Everything will be answered in Metamoris.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
March 29, baby. I'm heading over in 2 days. I'm going to spend the last week with Eddie, training with him and rolling around with the beast down at 10th Planet HQ. It's going to be sick. I can't wait.
Yep. Tell Eddie I love him. In a
I will.
non-gay way.
Yeah, tell Eddie I love him too.
What about Renato? You want me to tell him you love him too?
Yeah,
Nah,
I have a man
Renato,
crush
you know
on
what?
both guys.
Hanato is like my dad. That's how I love Hanato, you know? Like, I look at him, I look up to that man like a 27-time Jiu-Jitsu world champion. That's
Wait. Suman, wait, listen. Suman, listen. Have you seen that latest trailer for his, new show that's airing on the 20th of April?
Nah, I haven't seen it.
Oh my God, listen, go to my Facebook page. Go to my Facebook page. Do yourself a favor, dude. The first 18 seconds, if you're not on the ground, mate, you don't have a sense of humor. This guy, oh my God, he is so freaking funny. Dude, go on my Facebook page, scroll down, and you'll see Renato Larancha's trailer. Or if you type in on a Google search on YouTube, Renato Larancha's trailer for his new show, oh my God, it's called the Renato Larancha Show.
I'm gonna check it out
And
right
what-
after.
And what is that? On International Cannabis Day, I knew Nick would like that.
Yo.
Dude, listen, it just so happens to be, I don't know whether it's a coincidence or what, but it's just so happened to be, the release is 420. And as you know, 420 is the time of the day that apparently, allegedly, hippies usually light up and
Yep.
Yeah. So the 20th of April is International Cannabis Day because it's it's 420.
You know when international cannabis time is for me? 11 o'clock on Monday nights.
That's the time of my show. Oh my God, Nick, you got to be on this shit as well.
Yo, I'm halfway there. I'm rolling a spliff right now.
Guys, you doobie guys.
Eddie's gonna be so happy.
I think
my next opponent's listening to to this whole conversation, thinking, "Hey, Saman's not taking this serious." Blah blah blah. Man, I'll beat you stoned.
Man, you're very horny tonight, man. Slow down. You're as a hunter, man. Come on.
I'm always horny. Ask my girlfriend.
Oh God.
Yeah, you on that Victor Belfort TRT, I'm sure.
Not going that far. Right? This whole interview might come back to bite me in the ass one day. Like if I ever make the UFC or something, someone will come back and say, "Hey, nah, this kid's a stoner." Man, I'm not a stoner at all. You know, like that's the funny. Hey, there's no such thing as a stoner. You know.
Yeah, right. I saw the Facebook pic the other day, and you were like, I got to come to Australia to take that stuff because Singapore is just too strict.
Yeah, it is death, isn't it? Isn't it death?
No, it's not death.
Well, it was like a big joke, and then no, it's not.
Wait a second.
What?
Mate, when I got off the plane in Singapore by myself, mate, mate, seriously, the first thing I saw was it's something like, well, I can't remember the exact wording, but it's like, drugs equals the death penalty or something like that.
No, not all drugs. Certain type of drugs. Yeah, there is like heroin. If you carry heroin that is more than 50 cents Singapore, yeah, you get death.
Wow, fucking hell, that's serious shit. But
Yeah,
listen, man,
but weed is cool. Weed is cool. You just get jail for weed.
Oh, okay, yeah. Look, I mean, I'm not into anything like that. I mean, I'm not into anything hard. Never have been. Man, seriously.
Yeah,
No, seriously, dude. So, hey, listen, Chad Sanderson, if you're listening to this, don't worry, man. You don't have to check. You know, no, you don't have to do no cavity searches for me, man.
Oh
Hey.
God.
Hey, don't worry about that.
Surprise.
Don't be surprised if good old Chad's sitting there with a spliff right now listening to this.
Yeah, he probably is that scoundrel. He's from the States anyway, man, for sure, man. Come on, Chad.
Everyone's in the States.
Let me tell you though. Listen, Muhammad. Listen, man. Chad could have done with about a bucket of freaking hash, man. That last show, man. He was out of his mind towards the end of the show. That guy, he hadn't slept for like 7 months or something.
Oh, you smokers. Anyways, let's go to the main event. Johnny Hendricks versus
just going along with the gig. I don't do nothing, man. I'm squeaking.
I'm with you, Frank.
Yeah, everyone's with me. Anyways, Johnny Hendricks, Robbie Lawler. It was a great fight. It was a super fight. I love that fight. Nick, talk to me about that.
Lawler and Hendricks.
Yes.
Well, I'm gonna say something about Hendricks. Behind his beard is a cement truck. Carrying layers and layers of cement on his fucking chin. Jesus Christ. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say.
I'm gonna agree with you there. Wow, what a chin.
That's hilarious.
I mean, I'm not kidding, man. You can hide a fucking cement truck in that fucking beard of his, man. Jeez.
Apparently, didn't Dana White want it like checked or something if it was regulation length or something because they can't have it too long.
Yeah, now Suman has a beard, so I have a feeling you have some cement behind that as well.
Listen, I don't wanna let out all my secrets on the beard, but my beard actually gives me secret powers that if I told you I'd have to kill you about. You know, I don't know, like. If I saw that with Roy Nelson, they were telling him to trim down his beard or something like that. If someone ever told me to trim down my beard, now okay, let's get this right. I'm gonna clear it up here. My beard, all right. Anyone can assume what they want. I don't grow my beard for religious purposes. Okay. All right? I grow my beard because it's fucking awesome. All right? I just grow my beard. I just grow my beard for fun. You know, it's something that started off as a joke, and I said, oh, I'll shave my beard when I lose my next fight. And then I won 2 fights and I didn't lose. So I was like, okay, cool. Keeping the beard, it's good luck. But if someone else came up to me and said you got to trim down your beard or something, I'm swinging on the spot. All right, my beard's not going nowhere. Don't try and change me. Don't try and change Hendrix, because we've never seen him without a beard, and I don't want. I saw a picture in like one of his primetime interviews or something, and I was disgusted. I was like, that's not the Johnny Hendrix I know. You know, I don't like to see that stuff. There's nothing better than having a very serious conversation with someone and me just stroking my beard while talking to them. Even though I'm not listening to them, it adds the effect of people thinking that I'm wondering what they're saying. So,
All right. Back to the fight. What I love about this fight is that both fighters just stand in the pocket and trade and bang. Frank, come on. For 5 rounds.
Look, listen, Robbie Lawler, let me tell you, man, he was onto something. Like, I think it was round 3 or something, round 4 maybe. He started to sort of like just set that jab up, and I could just see that he was trying to land that left hook. And man, he rocked Hendrix a few times, man. And Hendrix would come back. It was like a zombie apocalypse. I couldn't believe. Both of those boys were tough, man. I didn't give a fuck. Robbie Lawler's just as tough as Hendrix, in my opinion, man. Hendrix, man, Robbie Lawler was a fucking hell. He really surprised me. He really did.
Yeah, man. Watching that fight, man. Like you guys said before, I've never seen two guys stand in the pocket for so long and just swing, man. Like, and you know what? I think the best part of watching Robbie Lawler fight, and something that died in the 5th round, and which is, in my opinion, the reason that like it was the beginning of the end for him in the 5th round, was if you look at the 1st to 4th round, or especially the 3rd and 4th round, the head movement of Robbie Lawler, he was rolling with every punch that Hendrix was throwing. And it was grazing him, and it was just slipping out of the way, and he was countering with big strikes, and it was good to see. You know, both of them. Good boxing, good head movement. But did you notice Hendrix utilizing the leg kicks? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's never done that before. So
Absolutely.
Hendrix came in there with a game plan. You know, but everyone knows you got a game plan until you get cracked in the mouth, like Mike Tyson said. You know. And I don't think the game plan was to sit in the pocket and just keep swinging. I think a few more leg kicks were in there and a few takedowns were in there, but it was a fucking entertaining fight for me to watch. I loved it. I wrote a status on Facebook saying my head says Hendrix and my heart says Lawler. You know, as that fight went on, my heart just grew more and more for Lawler. You know, I really, really, really wanted to see that belt be put around. As much as I'm a beard follower and a Hendrix man, you know, like I love Hendrix, but I really, really wanted to see Lawler get that belt wrapped around his waist. Seeing all the countdown interviews and things like that before, and watching him as a child and having his losses and then coming back a smarter fighter and all this stuff, it would have really been a fairy tale ending, not so much for Hendrix, but for Lawler. You know, it would have been a great thing to see. And I thought it would have set up a great fight with not Johnny Hendrix and Nick Diaz, but Nick Diaz and Robbie Lawler. As we know, Lawler was fighting Nick Diaz and Lawler was bashing him, and then boom! Nick Diaz put him out, you know? It would have been a great rematch. I think, in my opinion, I wouldn't mind seeing a rematch between Hendrix and Lawler. I think the fans would love to see that. Some people would disagree, saying, no, we got to give Woodley a spot. But in my opinion, I don't think Woodley, McDonald, or even Lombard have done enough to throw themselves. They've done well, but I don't think that Tyron Woodley's performance was enough to give him a title shot. I don't think that. I think Hector Lombard is still a win away from maybe getting a title shot. He's only had 2 fights at welterweight, and you know, like the way I look at it, I think a rematch could make sense. I'd like to probably see. I'd probably like to see Nick Diaz jump in there and fight Lawler, and see #1 contender spot or something like that. I don't know.
How about you, Frank? What do you think? Who's next for Hendrix? Nick Diaz, Hector Lombard, or Rory McDonald or Tyron Woodley?
Look, you know what? Rory McDonald, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think of Rory McDonald. I just don't think of him at that weight to be, he would appear small. In my mind, I've got this vision of Hendricks looking way bigger and stronger than Rory McDonald. I don't know if Rory would be able to handle that kind of firepower. You know, he's a great wrestler as well. That's the first thing in my mind. Hector, I think, you know, Hector and, can you imagine Hector and Hendricks?
Yeah, it would be great.
Hector, in my opinion, I think that Hendricks is too smart for Woodley in the first few rounds. Woodley's gonna get tired, and we're just gonna see Hendricks walk all over Woodley. In my opinion, I'd love to see Hector Lombard and Hendricks go at it if that's the fight to make. Put Woodley with Rory McDonald and have Robbie Lawler and Nick Diaz go for a #1 contender spot. I really don't want to see McDonald jab the shit out of Hendricks. You know, he's just gonna jab him, and then as soon as he gets cracked, he's gonna curl up into a little ball like a little bitch. And I don't know.
Okay, how about you, Nick?
Well, who's next? Who's next in line for the welterweight title?
I don't know. Who do you think is next in line?
I don't know. I mean, I like Woodley. I'm not a fan of McDonald, but I know Lombard looks alright, but I don't know, man. Like the welterweight, like even though Hendricks is at the top right now, right? The rest of the welterweight category is a little bit muddled up because yeah, I mean everything's shitty right now for the welterweight category for UFC. So it's hard to say because they don't just take into account whether or not they won the #1 contender spot, but also they want to know whether or not the fight's exciting enough, whether the fight's on that level. So I'm not entirely sure because Woodley's finish of Condit didn't actually impress me in a sense because it wasn't the finish. It wasn't a finish I was expecting out of Woodley. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think Woodley has a chance to go up to the welterweight range to for the welterweight crown, but he's gonna have to fight Lawler first, though.
Yeah.
So Woodley Lawler, Frank, final thoughts.
Look, I have to agree, Nick. Since George St. Pierre's been out of the picture, my brain's kind of gone welterweight scramble. I can't even hardly remember who's in the division anymore. You know what I mean? We're just waiting for the next matchup. That's how I feel. But look, Hector, you know, I don't know, maybe Hector, Tyron Woodley, I'd like to see more of that guy before I make a decision. I haven't seen enough. At the top level, I haven't seen enough. I would have loved to have seen that Carlos Condit fight go longer so I could establish myself in my mind with Tyron Woodley whether he was a title contender. So until I see a little bit more action from Tyron Woodley, I can't really look. Let's just see what happens. But you know, who are you going to put? You have to put Hector in there. Rory McDonald? I don't know.
So yeah,
I say Ronda Rousey. Put her in there. I wouldn't mind seeing that with that role. You know, I think that goes a bit. And her boxing is getting better. You know, I think she could crack him. As long as, like I always say, as long as Ben Askren's not there, I don't give a fuck.
Nice.
oh man.
All right, so much for Suman's love for Ben Askren, but this is what I'm gonna say. Nick Diaz was actually given a ticket. The UFC management gave him a ticket, flew him to the weigh-ins, had him over for the event. So basically, what I feel is that they want him back in the mix, and Nick Diaz actually says that he wants to get back there. The next thing he says that he wants Hendricks for the belt. So what happened was Fox News put up a survey, and the American public, they had all the contenders down there, and Nick Diaz had 70% vote to fight, and 71%. The rest got like 1-2%. Like the public doesn't care about anyone else. They just want to see Nick Diaz fight. But I don't think Nick Diaz should fight Hendricks straight away. I still feel that a rematch with Lawler would sell any arena in the States again.
Yeah, I think a match with Lawler would make sense as well. But at the same time, we got to remember this, right? If it makes money, it makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think that fight is going to make money, so it makes sense at the same time. Remember, we're in as much as we're in a fighting business, we're in an entertainment business, and we have to give the fans what they want to see. Now, personally, me as a panelist on this show, or some type of MMA expert, which I'm really not, but I'll tell people I am. If you ask me, I would say I would like to see Nick Diaz have one fight. I'd like to see him at least fight Lawler or another top contender. before he gets a title shot. But if he gets a title shot, man, I'm gonna view that. I'm gonna watch that fight, and I'm gonna love watching that fight. So, and I'm sure you guys all will too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talk about deserving it. No, he doesn't deserve it. But are we all gonna watch that fight and all be fucking super excited like little schoolgirls? Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna end UFC 171. I believe it's a bit late for Frank, isn't it?
Yeah, man, I got to get out of here. Listen, I just want to say real quick, Nick, it was really nice to meet you, man. You're a cool guy. I can't wait to talk to you again about some other matters, UFC or MMA related or, gi related. That'd be awesome. To meet you, man. Really it was. And thanks again, Mo, for letting me on the show and allowing us to talk about my boys, Josh and Shane. I mean, they did a great job. And Suman, you were there. Oh, by the way, you know how nice it was to see you, man? That, I just feel that support. I feel that support comes straight out of you, man. You don't even have to say anything. You had your back to me, and I was just so excited. I knew when you turn around, you'd be happy to see me. So it was awesome hooking up with you and meeting your wrestling coach and some of your boys and that. It was just awesome to share the cage with you, man. I just love that camaraderie and that soldier mentality. I just love that and your respect and appreciation for what I do and all that. And I just love that. So I really appreciate that. I can't wait to see you, man. Hey, listen, I sent you a special Yoda message on Facebook to your page. Check it out.
Oh man! All right, thank you very much, Frank.
Oh,
right,
some
boys.
bromance down there.
Thanks, Mo. Good luck.
All right, see you, Frank.
Take care, Frank.
Thanks, mate. Bye.
Oh gosh.
I took a photo with Frank actually. After it, I'm gonna post it up. I'll post it up and I'll even tag the TFS page in it. So
All right,
you
that's
can see
great.
us together.
That's great. Okay, let's get on with 1FC. You caught it, Suman?
Yes. I viewed the fights that I wanted to see. Yeah,
Yeah.
most of them. Yeah, I viewed.
How about you, Nick? You were supposed to go to some future music shit. Then apparently 6 people died because of drug overdose. Did you catch the fight?
Well, I did catch the fight, and personally about those things, well, if you want to go for a rave, I suggest never doing any hard drugs like ecstasy and all that, because if you overdose, you're gonna die. Just smoke weed, because if you smoke weed and you overdose, you fall asleep.
Advised by Nick Harris.
Don't do drugs, kids. Don't do drugs. Drugs are bad. I enjoyed 1FC. But I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would, because on paper the event looked great, but I don't know. It wasn't as explosive as I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed because I was there for the event. First up, I believe Wakauma actually visited Muayfit today. Were you there?
No, I wasn't. I was in immigration today, but yeah, I heard from some of my teammates that he made a little visit, just to say hi and stuff, check out the gym, and yeah.
All right, that's great, man. Okay, I'm going to tell you guys a story of what actually happened. First, what happened was Waka did not get his visa. So Bashir just took the fight on Wednesday. He cut 6 kilos, made weight on Thursday, and I did an interview with him at the hotel during the weigh-ins at 10 a.m. in the morning. So after that interview, the video actually went viral in Pakistan. And it actually got to the Pakistani embassy in Malaysia. And they saw the video. They were shocked that first Bashir lost 6 kilos in less than 12 hours. And the next thing that they were shocked was that how come this guy never get his visa? So because of that interview that I did, the Pakistani embassy straight away settled all Waka's visa, get all his plane flights and everything. So Waka actually traveled 18 hours because the thing is there's no direct planes to KL for Pakistan. It's only every week there's only one plane that is a direct flight. So Waka have to travel like basically halfway around the world just to get to KL.
Yep.
He got there like 2 hours before the show starts.
Yeah, I heard. It was a little bit crazy, but the fight business has always been a bit crazy, featuring the most craziest guys, the craziest stories. And this is one of those stories, I guess, that when we look back in hindsight and we say, holy shit, these are the things that people never realize, like I said, like when I was talking to you when you came over to Muayfit, I said that people take fighting for granted. People always think that fighting is just what it is, fighting, but there's so many aspects to it, and people just don't know it. And this is one of those things that amazes me about MMA because it's not just the journey of cutting weight, learning, and all that, but there's just so many trials and tribulations towards getting to your goal. And sometimes little things that people do, right, will just make people listen. And I believe that it's just amazing. It's just amazing that MMA is the way it is, you know?
Yeah, and then talking about that, what happened was he reached the hotel 1 hour before. So all he got was airplane food. But for the weight cut, it doesn't matter because Waka actually walks below 70 kilos. So he does not need to have a weight cut. He did not sleep for 18 hours. He got on by airplane food. Came to the hotel. Bashir actually fed him some bananas, and straight away he went on to the fight. And during the fight, he actually gave Peter Davis some trouble. He was in full mount, but I thought it was kind of inexperienced for him to go to that armbar since Peter is quite well on the ground. Suman, you watched that fight?
Yeah, I did actually watch that fight. Yeah, just because I was interested to see how it turned out. As much as I said,
Uh-huh.
oh, who cares about the fight? Yeah, I did say who cares about the fight. I'll watch any fight though. I think we did see a lot of inexperience from Waka. In my opinion, Peter Davis isn't the shit. I don't think he's that great. And we saw Waka fight against him and all this stuff, but I think very inexperienced, 3-0 coming from Pakistan. I know he must have had a hard journey over. He would have been underweight and all these other things, but I don't think he's really at that level. As much as trouble as he gave him, if he fights any other guy at 70 or 65 or whatever weight he wants to fight at, I don't think that any of the top level guys he's going to give it. I don't think he's going to give anyone any trouble. Like I said before, let's watch Ian Anti rip his heel off.
Oh yeah, that's sure.
Okay, how about you, Nick? Your sparring partner, your teammate Peter Davis, were you impressed by his performance, seeing that Waka actually gave him some trouble?
Well, here's the thing, yeah. I mean, I spar with Peter Davis on a regular basis, and I know what he's capable of, and I know what he's not capable of. The thing is, when he was fighting against Wakar, there was just something different about the way he fought. He didn't fight the way I expected him, and most of our teammates expected him to fight. I do not know what was going on. Maybe it was a mental thought, or maybe he cut too much weight. I'm not really sure. That is only Peter. That's only for Peter's knowledge, but as far as I can tell, I think, from what I saw, it looked like the weight cut this time gave him a bit of trouble, and he looked rather sluggish. And I don't know, it was a bit unimpressive, but I believe that the next time he's gonna fight, he's gonna come back a little bit better. But then again, I'm his teammate, so I can't give my unbiased opinion now, can I?
At the same time, you know what I really liked though? When he finished Waka, man, like I do to my little nephew. I wrap their arm around their neck and I hold their hand and start punching and elbowing him in the face. At the end, when he finished off Waka, he made him look like a little kid. He could have slapped him in the face. And
Yeah.
the way he trapped his arm, I like that. That was pretty cool how he trapped his arm and held it tight. But I think Waka had given up by that point.
Oh yeah. I think it was that elbow to the eye, that sharp elbow to the eye that ended Wakar actually.
I saw that one and I was just like, oh no. I'm like, that's some damage done.
Yep.
All right, next fight, Boku Lepont. I was totally surprised by how actually Arnaud was so smart in outstriking Boku in the first round. But I knew there was some point of the fights where Boku hands actually gave him trouble. And you guys saw the late stoppage down there, or early stoppage. I would call it. Suman, was that an early stoppage? But I know Lepont was actually hurt by that shot.
Yeah, he was hurt. But listen, as fighters, we want to go to the end. We want to go to the death. No matter what the situation is, the referee is there to help us. And I know a lot of different referees have a different opinion on an early or a late stoppage. He was hurt, so I can understand like why the referee did stop it, but then at the same time, I can understand why Lepont was so upset about it. Just because you did want to fight on. But no, I'm not going to disagree too much with the stoppage.
How about you, Nick? You trained with Lepont before. Lepont was from Wayfit. Anything that surprises you about that fight?
Well, I wasn't surprised at the outcome because I kind of saw that. I thought that Boku was a little bit too much for Lepont, but at the same time, I didn't expect it to end the first round either. I expected it to be like two guys brawling the shit out of each other, and in the third round, someone goes down. The thing that shocked me the most was, I don't know, Lepont had a very, how to say, had a very tentative approach this time.
Uh-huh.
He wasn't in your face. I don't know, it wasn't the Lepont that I was expecting to see in that fight. And with respects to the stoppage, now I've refereed a few professional fights and amateur fights, and I totally agree with what Suman says that each referee has different ways of perceiving what is a good stoppage and what is not. Now, based on my definition, referees are there for your safety because as fighters, we don't care about our safeties. That's why we fight. We just go in there, we want to fight, we just want to fuck some people up, then that's it. But the referee identified that Lepont was hurt. And for the record, when I was watching the fight, as soon as the left hook landed to Lepont's body and the right uppercut landed on his chin, Lepont went flat for a good 3 seconds. He absorbed 3 punches to the side of his head before the referee stopped him. And when the referee stopped him, that's when he got up.
Yeah.
So I believe that stoppage, even though it was slightly controversial, was justified.
Yes, exactly.
All right, that's very good opinions from you guys. All right, what's next? What's the next fight that was up? I love this fight. Ariel Sexton, Kamal Sholarus. Yes, Kamal was superior in wrestling, but Ariel was a beast. He just got in, flying knees, everything up. Suman.
Yeah, man. Like I picked Ariel for the upset for that reason because I knew as much as Kamal's gonna dominate the wrestle and things like that, I thought Ariel's gonna bring the fight, and he did bring the fight. It was an entertaining fight. You know, it was cool. As dominant as Kamal was, you know, he did have to think about the, you know, when he shoots in so he doesn't cop a flying knee or something. Great fight. Well done to Ariel Sexton and well done to Kamal.
Nick, you trained with Kamal when Kamal went down to Muay Fit. What do you think about the fight?
Well, like I predicted, Kamal would actually grind out a victory, and but it was really impressive to see Ariel Sexton perform the way he did. You know, I mean, it's not every day you see a guy that's relatively unknown in these parts of Asian MMA, and giving a slightly hard time towards Kamal Shalarus. And I believe that even though that the level of competition that was faced up against Ariel Sexton was great, he has so much more room to improve, and he has so much more room to grow. And I believe maybe in 3-4 years he might be fighting for the title. You never know.
All right, that's great. Next up, Adriano Moraes, Yasuhiro Urushitani. What I love about that, there was in the first 3 minutes of the first round, there was nothing. The crowd was booing, and all of a sudden, Mikinho just threw a flying knee.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Nick, you saw that fight. I feel Mikinho was just too fast for Urushitani.
Well, here's the thing about Moraes. Yeah, when he fought against Yusuf Sadulev in Warrior Spirit, right?
Yes.
Well, I had the wonderful opportunity to be able to see Adriano in the back room, getting prepared for his fight, and this guy is crazy. His unpredictability and, of course, the way he covers ground so fast is just amazing. And I believe that Adriano, like his first fight, he was nervous the second time because I don't know what Adriano is like in person, but he gives me this impression that there was a part of him that felt intimidated and really scared because maybe he lost his first fight or whatsoever, but he outperformed all of my expectations.
Now, how about you, Suman? You picked Urushitani as the favorite. Now, Adriano just beat an ex-UFC guy who's probably the top 15 flyweights in the world.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you something. I'm going to apologize for everyone I always pick because I'm terrible at picking these fights. I think, oh, no, this guy's got it in the bag. I'm like, yeah, no, Urushitani's got this shit, you know. That fight didn't go how I thought to. You know what? Like you said, in the first 3 minutes when there was no action, there was booing. Like I fast forwarded like 30 seconds, fast forwarded like a minute. Fast forward to 2 minutes, and I'm like, man, what the fuck? Well, aren't these flyweights or like lower weight guys meant to be jumping from one side of the ring to the other, or what the hell's going on here? You know, but yeah, it was a bit of stalling, but once it was on, and Adriana did really well, and beat a UFC veteran and someone who, again, was considered a top 10 fighter at the weight at one stage in his career. You know, great job, good win.
All right, next up, let's see, what do I have? I feel yes, Kevin Bellingham and Dae Hwan Kim. Nick.
Uh, uh, that fucking bulldog choke.
Oh yeah, Bellingham actually pulled off.
He is Robert Lecita. What the shit? You know,
Hey.
only Robert Lecita can do that. That's all I gotta say.
Like Robert said, if you're a sick cunt, you can do it.
Yep.
And I think he proved that he's a sick cunt for doing it.
Yeah, you know, Robert's a sick cunt. He is.
Yes.
No, but the thing is, I watched the instructional video Robert did at Phuket Top Team on how to do a bulldog choke. What you have to do once you get a bulldog choke is you sprawl, but Kevin Bellingham didn't sprawl. He just laid on to his side, so he will never get that choke, isn't it?
Exactly. That's the thing. Bellingham had it in the bag early on. He got him with a few good body kicks. You know how the Filipino Team Lakay guys do. I mean, like, they mix punches and kicks. Like their legs are like hands and their hands are like legs. They just switch in between. And I think that Kim was getting eaten up on the feet until he got reversed from that bulldog choke, and it was all over. And personally, that was sub of the night for me.
Yeah, and Suman is the only fighter that picked Kim, just because Major Overall says that Kevin Bellingham is the pound for pound Filipino fighter.
Yeah, shit. Yeah, shit. Like I said, yeah, shit. I'm like, you know, like I said, I like the underdog. I'm happy that was one pick that I had and everyone else didn't have him. You know, it was good. He had me a bit shaky when I was watching. I'm like, man, I'm gonna have another fucking pick go against me. I'm like, damn this shit. I'm not going on this show anymore. I'm embarrassing myself. But yeah, you know what? What can I say? I'm a genius in this sense. I can't pick them all, but I can pick some good ones.
All right, on to the main event of the night. Everybody thought Brock Lesnar would win. I personally thought Brock Lesnar would win in his wrestling game. First round, Brock Lesnar did not show much wrestling. What he was successful at was his like this kind of awkward lower punch to the body, then punch to the head combo, which was he was quite successful in the first round. But after that, once Suzuki read his game, and that was it. Nick, did that fight surprise you?
That fight surprised me because Brock Lesnar didn't do what he did, you know, and like what he did against Manhoff, right? He distanced himself. He used the angles to cut and to shoot in. Whereas with Suzuki had really great movement. Really knew how to move really knew how to counter his takedowns and stuff. And I believe that Brock Lesnar needs to work on one thing, and his striking transitioning to wrestling. That means that he's got to work that seamless transition from when he strikes to shoot, because there were a couple of times when came in with 3 to 4 punches, but he didn't finish it off with the drive.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. That's the thing that kind of disappointed me in that fight. I think Suzuki picked up on it, because at one point Suzuki didn't even have to move after sprawling. He just sprawled down, push him off, got back up, and it was back to square one.
Yeah, I think that was gas by the time it was the third round, isn't it?
I think that was age also.
Yeah, age also. But Suman, I want to talk about this. I think the difference that the disadvantages that wrestlers or primarily wrestlers have in 1FC is that you can knee and kick guys on the ground, and I feel that was what Brock got. Like when every time he shoots for the takedown, then he got a knee by Suzuki. I think you can see by the animation down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel Ben Askren also have some kind of disadvantage in ONE
I
FC
hope,
now.
I hope he has a disadvantage.
Of course, he has a fucking disadvantage. Have you seen his fucking hair? Jesus Christ!
It's-
The hell does he
Hey,
go
listen,
cage like
I-
that?
I consider myself a grappler. I'm shit, but I still consider myself a grappler.
Uh-huh.
But I consider myself a grappler, and grapplers I don't think would like the whole idea of a soccer kick or a knee. You know, when you're to a downed opponent and things like that. I think it's fucking awesome. I think it levels out the wrestler who just wants to lay and pray. You know,
Yeah,
be
that's
able be able to know this. When you want to take me down and hump my leg, I'm gonna kick you in your face. Or if I reverse you and you're on your back, I'm gonna kick you in your face. Or I'm gonna do some knees from side control or something. You know, it's good. You know, I want to see it. I want to see it internationally. I want to see soccer kicks and I want to see foot stomps come back to. Like I mean, head stomps come back as well. I'm a head stomp fan.
Oh, I like hit stomps too, but it's violent as shit. So
It's
yeah.
violent. It's violent as shit. But let me tell you something. If Shogun says to you, "I want a head stomp," are you gonna disagree with him? No, you want to watch that. You wanna
Oh,
watch
yeah,
that.
definitely. It's fucking Shogun, man. Jesus Christ, you know, wow.
That's why, and I think that was that's the good thing about ONE FC. You know, their rules. They can they can employ those front kicks, the soccer kicks, and everything. And it gave Brock Larson some trouble. I think we saw a bit of aging in Brock Larson, and
Yeah.
you know I think it's a bit unfair to say that, especially after he did beat Melvin Manhoff. But let's be honest here, Melvin Manhoff himself is getting old as well.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. But okay, thoughts on Suzuki Askren coming 30th May? Does Suzuki have a chance now?
Well, Suzuki has
Nick?
a thing that he did against Brock,
Uh-huh.
but here's the thing. Brock and Askren are two different levels of fighters, and the age is different as well. So the thing is, will Suzuki do enough to make Askren fade, or will Askren survive Suzuki's early onslaught, get him timed down, and lay and pray, or will Suzuki knock him out? We'll never know until it comes.
How about you, Suman?
Do you really want to ask me that?
Yeah, of course. I love your opinions on Askren.
Listen. I've said to you one time, many times,
Uh-huh.
if I ever get to go to like, you know what, I really want to go to like a ONE FC event. You know, I know one of the referees that have refereed at a ONE FC event, John Sharp. It's amazing, you know, cool show. If I ever get anywhere near him, I will hurt him. No, I'm just joking. I won't hurt him. But seriously, I could not give a shit about that fight. That just made welterweight division of ONE FC extremely shit. I'm never ever gonna pick Ben Askren to win, just because I hate him, and everyone else will pick him like, oh yeah, he's gonna win. So I'm gonna say Suzuki's gonna win with a front kick to his jaw,
Whoa.
knee or something. He's gonna win, right? And then we can all go back to watching the welterweight division of ONE FC. And ONE FC will realize, shit, we overpaid this head leg humper. Man, like listen. Why don't I say this about GSP? GSP's gone to more decisions than anyone,
Uh-huh.
right? Like, but GSP's the man. If GSP has a game plan all the time, and when he goes, he starts striking and he starts using his jab. He doesn't always just take down every person. Now Ben Askren, on the other hand, like if he was this is the nicest way I can put it. You hear about those lions that if one of their children, you know, they think is like, I don't know, a little bitch or something like that. They sacrifice that child. They go up to the top of a mountain, like holding the baby by the top of his head, and they chuck him off the top of the mountain. If I was a lion and he was my child, I would chuck him off the top of that cliff. Oh my God, I really don't like it.
Nah,
You know what? Before it was funny to me, and everyone is probably listening to this saying like, "Stop talking shit. He's this fighter. He's that fighter." I don't care. I don't like him. You know, like I think I could learn so much off everyone, but there is nothing I really want to learn off him. If I wanted to learn wrestling, I'd learn it off someone else. Fuck you, Ben Askren. You know what frustrates me more? He'll probably be main event of one of these cards, and I'm gonna have to. I'm not paying for it. Fuck that. You know what? He's probably got a percentage of the pay-per-views going in his pockets. I'm not contributing to you. Fuck you, Ben Askren.
I believe because Nick Harris is in the welterweight division of ONE FC, so he should like kind of love whatever Suman just said. Nick?
Yeah,
Listen,
I love it.
Nick,
I love it.
I'm gonna send you, if you ever fight Ben Askren, and I think you can, right? If you fight Ben Askren, I'm gonna send you like a motivational video or a photo or something to help. Listen, I will fly to Singapore.
Malaysia.
Malaysia.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got about like 7 or 8 Iranian national wrestlers in my gym. I'll fly them all over to help you to get rid of this. You know what? He's a virus.
He is.
That's the best way to put him. Listen, the guy was killing it. Like not killing it. He was humping legs. He was making pornos in Bellator, right? He was in Bellator and he was winning, and Bellator didn't want him. The he's like, I don't know, 12-0 or some shit, right, or whatever he is. He has this great record. The UFC did not want him, right? Why Matt Hume, Victor? Why did you get him? Like seriously, like really, like if Rebel FC got him, I'm telling you right now, I would have messaged Chad and said, listen, Chad, it was a pleasure working with you. But you don't know anything about like MMA, and you know what? Thank you, Chad, for not making an offer to him. You know, I'll be watching Rebel. You know, like fuck me, like I just don't like the guy, man. Like, and you know what? We'll cross paths one day, and you know he's gonna like be like, "Oh fuck you, you're that little shit that was talking shit about me," and I'll be like, "Yeah, man, what are you gonna do about it? We're gonna face off in the car park, and what's he gonna do? He's gonna shoot." You know, he's gonna shoot him. He's gonna shoot him, and you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna pull guard. Hopefully he's got a gi on. Hopefully he's got
The gi joke was coming in sooner or later.
I'm telling you. Oh, man, I would love nothing. Like, this is not gay at all. I'm telling you. I would love nothing more than to triangle choke him and for him to smell my balls.
Smell my balls, bro. Smell my balls.
Nick, please, I'm saying, push for that fight. Fuck Ben Askren. And you will all be one of my heroes for all time. Like, oh man, you have a place to stay in Australia. You have a gym to train at. I got everything. Fuck Ben Askren.
Fuck Ben Askren.
Let's stop talking about it. You know, it was funny at the start. And now it's like actually starting to piss me off. I'm like, man, how does Ben Askren fight in one of the top shows? He should have been one of the top shows in the world. Take him to like Legacy or some shit. Legacy FC where we don't watch it. You know, like no one watches that shit. Take him to RFA or one of those shows that we all read about. I'd read about it on Sheerdog just to say, oh yeah, another unanimous decision victory by a leg humper. Ben Askren, you know, fuck curly-headed fuck.
All right. So, anyways, okay, cut that out. I've been playing the ONE FC backstage footage. To tell you the truth, I was not actually granted access to this area, but apparently due to my very good ninja skills, I was inside the blue corner room and I was inside the red corner room as well. But what I want to speak about at the end of this show before I end up is the weight cut problem. Okay, I was at the weigh-ins. So first we had Sherilyn Lim did not making weight. He was 3 kilos over. Then after that, Andrew Leone didn't make weight. So they were told that they had 1 hour to cut weight. So I was there, I waited for 1 hour. The next thing was Andrew's corner spoke to Victor and says, oh man, Andrew can't make any more weight. He can't cut any more weight. The next thing I heard from Victor Chui was, that motherfucker, this has been the second time he didn't cut weight. But what happened next was Kojima's management straightway talked to Andrew and they had a catch weight fight. So it's all good. We got to see Andrew fight Kojima. But Sherilyn, on the other hand, came out, went into the room. She was all wet. She looked like she's really going to die, and she was just wearing a towel. So I assume she was naked. Everybody had to go out of the room, and I believe she weighed in naked. And even though she tried to cut, she only cut like 700 grams. Then,
Oh shit.
yep, the next thing happened was that the door was open. I went in. Sherilyn started drinking water because I believe it was not safe for her to cut any more weight. Then I spoke to Victor. Victor was telling me, oh, Andrew is just negotiating. Then how about Sherilyn? Sherilyn had 2 more hours to cut any more weight, but I believe that Sherilyn couldn't cut any more. So I told Victor, I do not have 2 more hours. I have to go out. So I just reported on Facebook that both this guy and girl didn't make weight, and we wait for the 1FC official announcement. In the end, Sherilyn didn't fight. I was gutted because Sherilyn and Anne fight. Too bad for the rest of the fights on the card. This was the fight that it actually made Malaysians and Singapore care enough. Casual people who don't watch MMA care enough to come and watch the fight. I was there at 4:30, 5 o'clock. There were some people from Sabah who came on, and when they got to know that Ann Osman didn't fight, they went off. They walked off. So you lost like so many fans or so many potential fans to come and watch that show. But tell me, what's the proper procedure like, Suman? If somebody didn't cut weight, what's the procedure like? Do they straight away negotiate, or what? How does it go?
In Australia, if someone misses weight, we're given an additional hour, or some shows 2 hours, to cut the weight. If someone turns around and says, "Listen, we can't cut any more weight," that's when the negotiations start. In some organizations in Australia, what we do, we take obviously a 20 or 30% of their purse, which is the first thing that they do. But in some organizations, they actually forfeit the first round. The person who missed weight gets an automatic loss of the first round, and the other person gets like a 10-9 round.
Wow.
Yeah, that happen. I don't know if that happens anywhere else in the world, but that does happen in Australia. And you know what? I think it's fair. I think it is fair. Because who loses out the most out of this? The fighters or the fans?
The fans.
The fans lose a lot out of this. When you've been hyping up a fight, man, I know that since we started doing this show, that's one fight that you've been hyping up.
Yep.
And you're like, I'm so excited to see this fight, yada yada yada, and like going on about it. And what happened is, like, I don't know, like, was it? I find it unprofessional, not making weight. Number one thing is, you're not fighting in a local show anymore. Even if you're a local, you're not fighting in a local show anymore. You're in fucking 1FC. You're in Rebel. You're in the UFC. You don't fucking miss weight. If you know you're gonna miss weight, like, give someone else an opportunity to be there. I'm sure other people would love to have taken that fight. It kills you. You do a hard job writing all these reports and everything. Fans are getting excited to watch a fight, and then they have their heart ripped out of their ass because someone doesn't make weight. It's not professional. Now, in not making weight, there's a difference between 500 grams, a kilo, and 3 kilos, and like 8 pounds as well for that Zach Cummins and Adrian
Alberto Mina.
Alberto Mina, yeah. 8 pounds is ridiculous. 3 kilos, especially for a woman, is ridiculous. You know that women, it's much harder for them to lose weight, especially if they're on their menstrual cycle or they're getting their period or something like that. It makes it a lot harder for them to lose weight. But I think that women as well know when they're going to get their period or something, and if an event is booked in, they should know that, hey, this weight cut's going to be fucking hard for me because I'm going to be bloated that week. I'm not going to be able to lose my weight in the last week or something. Prepare for it earlier. I don't know what the problem with Sherilyn Lim was. A lot of people are saying she just didn't want to fight. she robbed Ann Osman of her opportunity to get revenge and all this stuff. I think it was 3 kilos is unprofessional. You can understand if a guy misses weight by a kilo because as unprofessional as it is, I shouldn't be saying this. As fighters, we like to give ourselves every advantage that we can, right? And a lot of MMA fighters, the advantage that they try and give themselves is replenishing and putting the weight, as much weight as they can, back on. Now, what they try and do, they try and leave the whole water weight thing until the end, and they haven't done as much dieting, so they just try and suck their body dry. And sometimes it doesn't go to plan. So maybe sometimes you miscalculated it and you missed by 500 grams. I still think it's not acceptable, but that happens. 3 kilos, unacceptable. And you know what? The fans paid for it. You know, the fans paid, and Osman paid for it. You know, I'm sure she trained hard for that fight. She made weight. She did everything right. Like, I just hope she was given her fight money, but I know that her fight money isn't what she wanted. I know that she wanted to bang, and let her bang, bro.
Yeah, but talking about that, since One FC does do purse cut and so on and so forth, Nick, like Anne actually trained so hard for that fight, and she knows that now. Okay, Sherilyn is like 2 point something kilos over, but shouldn't they just do a catchweight fight and please the fans?
Now, here's the thing, okay? I'm gonna look at this as a casual fan, okay? As a casual fan, most casual fans don't understand why the weigh-in is there, correct?
Yep.
They just think that it's just one of those things that is just procedure to the fight. The thing is, as fighters, like let's give a hypothetical example, yeah? Let's say me and Suman were supposed to fight at 70 kilos, all right?
Okay.
We both agree to fight at 70 kilos, and no matter what happens, right, throughout the span of the entire fight week, both me and Suman have to go down to 70 kilos. Why is that? Because it makes it a level playing field. For that particular day, we are both dehydrated, we're both at the same weight, and it gives the impression that these two guys are on the even weight, even though they're both physically different, they're both on the same weight, so it's the level playing field. That is the understanding of the casual fan. As a fighter, now, the weight cut is 90% of the time is harder than the fight itself.
That's right.
And a lot of fighters, and I agree with Suman wholeheartedly that 1 kilo, 500 grams, it's unprofessional, yes, but 3 kilos over the limit, that's just too much. I mean, you can tell whether the guy really puts in effort to cut the weight if he misses by 500 grams or a kilo. If he misses by 3 kilos, what the hell does that tell you? I mean, that tells you a lot about the fighter, right?
Yeah, like I said, it's professionalism. Like I've taken a fight when I was walking on the scale at 71 kilos, and my opponent had cut down to 79 kilos because that was the lowest he could get. I took the fight on a day's notice just because I really wanted to fight, and this guy was one of the top prospects in Australia, and everyone was talking to him. I just wanted to challenge myself, and I went in there and I beat him. Now, it's not saying that the person who's underweight can't beat the person who's overweight. What it's saying is, like, the person who's underweight is taking a far bigger risk than the other person.
Exactly.
Every kilo does count, you know. Again, the one loss that I had in MMA was when I fought at 75 kilos. When I can fight at bantamweight, I can fight at 61 kilos. And if I can make 65 on 2 days' notice, I can make 61 if I've got a week's notice. You know what I mean? I went to 75 and I felt the difference in power. You know, I looked like a child next to a grown man. Every kilo makes a difference. Now, 3 kilos, especially for women who, like I said, may not lose as much or gain as much, 3 kilos is a big difference. It's more than 5 kilos for a man. 3 kilos for a woman is huge, you know. And that Ann Osman didn't do anything wrong. You know, yeah, we would say, oh, take that fight, but that's us being selfish.
Of course.
That's us not thinking about the fighter. Now, her management team obviously thought about her professional career and things, and said, you know what, fuck you. You didn't make weight. We've done the right thing, and like we don't want to take that fight. I know personally, me as a fighter, I would have taken the fight and just used that as more motivation to beat the crap out of them, and I would have liked that extra bit of money in my pocket. But you know, you can't blame them for not taking the fight. Women are different. I've realized that dealing with women as well. Women are different, and you can't, as much as they want to be treated like the guys, you have to be very, very not gentle with the women, but you have to approach it in a different way, and you have to realize they're not like us in the same sense as, yeah, fuck that, we're gonna make this person pay. They're different. They're emotional, and you know, it's part of the sport to make weight. At the end of the day, that's it. We're paid before fighting. We're paid to make weight, which, in my opinion, is why after you make weight, you should automatically be paid a percentage of your purse.
Exactly.
I've always thought that. I don't like the idea because a lot of, especially when we get to the big. I have a few guys that get paid quite well in Australia, and when they get paid quite well, it's usually okay. We'll transfer the money into your account, and then sometimes a week goes by, or 2 weeks go by. Hey, where the fuck is my money that I've just been training or what I just fought for? You know. So I think the bigger fight is making weight. I think that you should be paid a bigger percentage of your, or half or 40% even of your purse when you make weight, to make a fighter feel comfortable. Listen, I've made weight. I've been paid for what I've just done. I didn't do that for nothing, and it helps him fight with a clearer mind. Just a suggestion to promoters out there.
Yeah, I believe Kojima is happy right now, even though he lost to Andrew. He got part of Andrew's purse, isn't it? But
Yeah,
Nick, coming from, how about you? If you were to fight someone in the 1FC welterweight division who can't make weight, or at least, like in the same case, 3 kilos, but everyone in Malaysia wants to see you fight, would you take that fight?
I'll fucking do it. I'll fucking do it.
Yeah, man. You're at the end of the day. Listen, we're fighters, and the way I look at it, I'm like, man, if I was on the street, I can't say, hey, man, how much do you weigh? Do you weigh 3 kilos more than me? Man, I'm 70 kilos. I'm 72 kilos or something, and I've fought guys. I'm telling you that I hate to say this. Yes, I have fought in the street when I've had to defend myself. I've fought against guys that are like 110, 120 kilos, and you know, like big guys, and I never said, hey, man, like, look how big this guy is. Probably because I beat the crap out of him, and if I lost, I would have said that. But you can't say that, and that's the mentality that I think with. I think that it's kill or be killed. I look at it like war. You know, in a war, you're not going to look at the guy and say, how much do you weigh? So I used to not think about that too much, but now I'm getting smarter with the sport. You have to approach it more as a professional. You have to make weight. If someone doesn't make weight, you're going to get punished for it, in my opinion.
Of course.
All right, let's do a final one for the show. We've gone like 2 hours plus for this show, and I expected it to be long, but anyways, I would like to do a shout out. What will happen is that on this week, whatever you guys said about the weight cutting issue, I will try to get Fight G on, and Osman Cam on as well, and I will write an article on that. I will do an article on Arnaud Lepont soon this week. Wei Fit, Chen Wei, or is it Zen Wei? How do you call it, Nick?
Zen Wei.
Yeah, Zen, the Iron Rose Way. That girl beat the crap out of me, and that video is coming out soon.
I gotcha.
All right. So that's me for the week before I get Monarchy's video on next week. Nick, what do you guys in Wayfit and you guys have this week?
Well, we've got a lot of things on for us. Actually, the guys at Muayfit, everybody is all gearing up for the Malaysian invasion tryouts. So,
Mima.
Yeah, so the gym's pretty hectic right now. A lot of guys coming in, a lot of guys coming out, and you know, we're getting an influx of new talents, and I'm going through a shitstorm because there's so many guys coming in, and I have to separate, you know, the wheat from the chaff, you know, and it's a daunting task, but it's pretty fun, and yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to the Malaysian invasion to see some of my boys put a stamp on the Malaysian invasion. So yeah, that's about it.
When is that?
The Malaysian invasion tryouts is April 18th, I think, if I'm not mistaken, around that time.
All right, and that will be in KL.
Yes, Kuala Lumpur.
All right, if I have time, I'll come down.
Oh, perfect. You know my gym's always open for you, yeah?
Yeah, I know. How about you, Suman? Australian top team. What do you guys have in Australia?
Man, you know that every week I'm saying to you, we got this fight, this fight, this fight. Man,
Yeah.
for like last 3 months, every weekend I've been at a fight. You know, since I've gotten back from Singapore, we've had fight show after fight show after fight show. You know, it's been really, really hectic for me. This week is the first week that I don't have a fight in a long time. But we do have the state championships in jiu-jitsu this weekend. So a lot of our guys are going to be competing in the state championships of jiu-jitsu. So it'll be pretty good. You know, I'm not competing. I'm just going to be there coaching the guys. I just wanted to... I compete in every competition, so sometimes I just like to go to shows and... Like, I like to go to fight shows and not have any guys fighting. I like to sometimes just... I always go, sometimes even like with one friend or one or two friends, I'll just go to a fight show, sit in the back where I don't want anyone... Because I know a lot of people obviously in the fighting industry here, and I always got to talk to someone. I like to sit in the back and just enjoy the show. And unfortunately, I can't just enjoy the BJJ event. My girlfriend and a lot of other people are going to be competing this weekend in the BJJ comp. So it'll be pretty good. It's our first BJJ comp for the year. And we always do really, really well in Australian BJJ. You know, we've taken out a lot of the tournaments. You know, we've been voted. Our points have been tallied up as one of the best clubs in Sydney, New South Wales. So it'll be good. And then the week after, then I've got a few guys fighting again, but I've got kickboxing fights. I've got 3 kickboxers and a boxer fighting the week after, so I'll just be cornering them. But yeah, man, like just my brother gets back from Thailand with James Jumanji in a gym this Thursday. They've been over in Thailand for a month, so I get to take a bit of a break. I get to relax and let them take care of everything. You know, James works at my gym as well, so I just want to relax for one day and then let them kind of take care of everything and then just focus on my own training because even though I can't say anything about the fight booked, I'm sure people have rumors and things that they know about my fight, but yeah, I'm getting ready for a big fight of mine.
All right, finally, quick pick. Just Shogun or Henderson next week. Suman.
Shogun.
Nick, Shogun or Henderson next week?
Definitely Shogun, man.
All right.
Yeah, if we go off last performance, man, Shogun put James Tuna to sleep.
Yeah.
And, if we go off Dan Henderson's last performance with Vitor Belfort put Henderson out. So if we go by that, I love them both. Like we said, we saw a 5-round war last time. Hopefully we see the same thing again. We see them kill each other, but I think this time around, just like the Forrest fight when Forrest Griffin beat Shogun, Shogun's going to come back bigger, stronger, and I've got Shogun in this one.
All right, man. Next week, we'll talk about Fight Night, Shogun Henderson. You got to watch. The reason you got to watch is that we have people who fought in the Asian scene before. Mirbek Taisumov will be fighting as well as Will Chope versus Diego Brandao. Everyone wants to know where that fight goes. So... Yeah, we'll be back next week. Nick, you want to be back next week?
Yeah, definitely. And before you end the show, Wadi, I just need, because I couldn't sleep after this, yeah? I just want to get your prediction on this. Assume that Sherilyn Lim did make weight and the fight did go. What was your prediction?
I still feel Ann Osman would out-grapple her because Ann Osman is just strong as shit. She's just so strong. She's stronger than Sherilyn by every inch and every way, and I've seen Sherilyn actually sparred with Brett Robinson, and I see the game plan that they were going through, and I thought it would be an exciting fight because what happens is that the first fight, despite 1FC giving Sherilyn the win, I knew Ann's going to win.
Yep.
Then I visited Fight G and I saw how Sherilyn was training, and I thought, dude, this could go 50-50.
Exactly.
That's the thing, and it didn't happen, and I was so pissed. I was like, come on, Andrew could fight Kojima. Why Sherilyn couldn't fight Ann Osman?
I think it came down to Ann Osman's decision. I don't know. What are they going to do? Like, Is Zan Osman just gonna fight someone else now, or are they gonna make that fight happen? And same thing's gonna happen.
I'll give you guys the scoop. The next girl fight that's gonna happen in Manila, and I know people will shoot me for this, but I don't give a shit. The next girl fight that's gonna happen in Manila is Filipinos Jujev Nagawa versus Malaysian Adik Shahida.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Suman is wow because you never seen them both fight. But Nick, I know you saw Adik before.
Yep.
How do you think that fight gonna go? I give you 2 minutes before I end the show.
Man, I don't know the Filipino, but the Malaysian is gonna be. I know she's scrappy, she's messy, but at the same time I don't know. It's gonna be crazy. I really don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, if you give me the information, if you don't give me the information, it's hard for me to predict. But I seen the Malaysian fight, and I don't know. I think we're in for a scrap.
All right. Okay. Let's just hope. Let's just hope Amy Adam and Helen Harper comes into the 1FC girl division. If not, it's gonna be crap.
Of course.
Yeah, man. I got some bangers here, and Helen Harper's legit. Helen Harper's cool as fuck. She's a good straight fighter. And Amy as well. Amy got unlucky with that loss against May Oi. But hey, that's the fight game. I guess we're gonna see if May Oi is legit. Now that she got signed to Rebel, they've announced her as their first signing, which I think is boring. I'm sure they've got. I know the fans want to see May Oi fight, but there's some bigger names. I know that Rebel have some bigger things in line. I want them to reveal that instead of that fight. Who's May fighting? I'm trying to hype up the Helen Harper versus May Oi fight. I actually wrote on the photo that they posted up. Tagged Helen Harper.
I saw that.
Yeah, I was just doing it to G it up, and then see how defensive May Oi's coach got.
Okay. Talking about that, Silvio will be signing for Rebel as well, and I believe ATT got guys who want to fight Silvio.
Listen.
Welterweight.
We should do coach against coach.
What you want to fight on a welterweight?
One of my jiu-jitsu coach is a welterweight fighter.
All right.
Right, and jiu-jitsu against jiu-jitsu, and he would love to beat the crap out of him. Hey, he's a nice guy. But hey, let's put ATT against trainer against trainer. Let's see how it goes. Personally, I've seen his fights. Not impressed at all. So yeah, just wow,
right.
great signing.
Make that happen. How about you, Nick? Is Brad Robinson versus Nick Harris 2 going to be on Singapore?
Well, I'm gonna give you the answer that a very precise answer. As long as there's no contract in front of me saying that I'm gonna fight Brad Robinson, I'm not gonna say that's gonna happen. So unless 1FC and the powers that be send me the magical contract into my house, I'm praying for it. I'm praying for that contract to come to my house. So. Worst come to worst, I can always see a Malaysian shaman and get myself 2 coconuts and a flying carpet.
All right, that's an inside joke about the stupid Bomo thing. But anyways, okay, that's it, guys. If I were to carry on, we would talk until the next morning. So I want to stop this show. We'll come back next week. Monday Night Mayhem. Suman Mukhtarian, Australian Top Team. Nick Harris from Wayfit. Thank you so much, guys. See you guys next week.
See you, Nick. Thank you.
Bye-bye, Suman. Cheers.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.